Hey guys, welcome to the PM&A podcast, number 19. We made it, 19. So next one's a big one, eh?
Yeah.
So Ernie has a rough voice today.
Yeah.
And sounds like he ate a bag of bees and
big old bag.
And so I'll be doing most of the talking.
It's getting better though.
Anyway, welcome guys, number 19. This episode. So we've been talking a lot about Ride for Dad. It's put on by TELUS, and they're raising money for prostate cancer. So if you go on the website, I've talked about this before, ridefordad.ca. It's a riding group. They're riding motorcycles, raising money for dad. Look up the team, Shadywood Hooligans. Any of those guys, you just throw some money on there. It's for a good cause, prostate cancer, super important stuff. So we just wanted to make sure that if you do have like $20, $30, throw some money on there.
They ride on Saturday, right?
Tomorrow.
They ride tomorrow on Saturday.
Yeah, tomorrow on Saturday. Yeah. We're also, like you guys listened to the last podcast, Always Bearded Lifestyle came on. We want to shout them out. We're going to do this as a regular thing. They're a great guy. He's a great guy. Sven's a great guy. And we want to support his business. Always Bearded Lifestyle wants you to take care of your beard. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Well, not chop it off or else he wouldn't have a company.
Yeah. They make beard grooming products. They formulated with natural, certified, clean ingredients. They make beard oil, beard wax, and beard cream. And I've been starting to use the beard cream a lot lately.
You like the cream?
Yeah. It takes away the dry flakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's as far as we're going to say. But yeah, Always Bearded. It's pretty awesome.
Keep it up. Oh, he was on the shopping channel.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch it?
It did go very well.
It went really well.
Yeah. Sven, you're doing a great job, buddy.
Keep it up.
Yeah. So we have 586 event group. Hugo, George, and Mike are here. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Thanks for this is pretty rad. When Ernie said you guys were coming on, I was like, whoa, this is.
No. This is be honest. He goes, "Who the hell are you doing this again?" Because he doesn't trust me after Fabian. He's just like, oh.
I like Fabian.
He's like,
Fabian, I like you a lot. Okay.
It's his first question. Have they been to jail?
No.
Do they have a taser in their pocket?
We definitely know each other. Like you went to Preston.
Yeah.
You were older than me, and you went to Preston.
Yeah.
I think you hung out with a buddy of mine, Adam Neufeld, didn't you? No.
I know him.
You know him.
I know him. Yeah.
I thought I saw you in I don't know. We're old now. I'm like in my 30s, and I don't talk to anybody from high school really anymore. So. And did you go to Mike? Did you go to Preston as well?
No, I went to school in Mississauga actually.
All right, even better. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, so we absolutely don't know you.
Yeah. That's right. So yeah, we all went to the same high school except for Ernie because he didn't want to go there anymore.
No, I didn't. I was flunking
Why did
out.
you get at it? Why did you leave Preston?
Because I couldn't handle 8, so I went to St. Benedict's, and so I didn't have to pick up my clothes in the morning.
But you went to Preston though.
You did.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's where I met.
Right till 10, till grade 10.
Oh.
And then I wasn't doing so great because apparently you have to go to school in order to graduate school.
That makes no sense. I don't even know. We lived in the same house, and I don't even know why
I didn't
you
want to
switched
get
high
up.
schools.
No.
It makes no sense at all. Anyway,
So
why the fuck are we talking about this?
Anyway.
Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
So you guys run this sweet. How do you what is it like? So how do you it's like an event group, but you guys do parties, weddings, and it's legit. I've seen your photos. This is a really high class. You guys are messing around. How did you guys start like Ernie is? Not say Ernie's terrible.
You're saying I'm fucking messing around.
I started from the bottom.
Jesus.
Well,
Yeah.
You guys saw the turntable he had a year and a half ago.
That's
we did
true.
our very
That's
first.
true.
We were doing one in Preston
Arena.
It was this rickety tick plastic one. Looks like he got from
It was an
play school.
iDJ. It looked like that thing that PlayStation used to have for that DJ thing that they had.
We did
It's a rock band thing.
We did a stag and dough with it.
Yep.
So when we were we're DJing,
with a home stereo.
Look at you now, though.
Like a Kenwood receiver.
No. We're talking
No. This was a really nice one. It was a really nice Pioneer amp with towers that were actually about as tall as Jeremy is sitting down right now. They were big. They were really loud too.
We started like that too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you
See now I don't feel so
I
bad.
started with my dad's equipment. Actually, my dad had a bunch of.
Yeah, but were they PAs though?
Yeah, it was Yorkville, right?
Yeah, Yorkville Elites.
And amps and
PV
crossover.
subs.
Really?
And
A lot of gear.
Yeah, a lot of gear.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Did you just show up with a big van full and then load up, or?
That's exactly
Yeah.
it.
Like a
What did
7-seater with the seats down.
So just doing
like
stag
what?
and dough, or to
No,
do parties,
well,
or
everything. I'll give you the full spiel.
Yeah.
I've been playing piano since I was 8.
yeah.
And so I always wanted to be a musician, do music one way or another. Then I got into making beats when I was 16, between 16 and 18, around there. I got into making beats. And then I was like, man, this is what I want to do forever. So then I went to school for recording engineering.
Oh wow.
Where'd you go?
Metalworks in Mississauga. And then
Is that where you met Mike?
No,
No.
Sorry, Mike. I'm
He's
sorry.
trying. He's
Sorry.
trying.
Yeah.
We're
It's
trying
a
to
good guess,
really
though.
in.
Yeah.
Not yet. It's almost
Sorry,
coming.
It's almost coming.
It's almost coming.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. So yeah, I'm in school for that, and then these guys, well, I guess you can tell them how you met.
Well, Mike worked at Foot Locker back in the day in Guelph, and I worked at Tip Top Tailors.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I used to work at the Cambridge one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then worked my way up to full time right after school, and then moved to Guelph to the Tip Top there, and then we'd talk in the halls, and he's bored, I'm bored, and we'd start talking in the halls and whatnot. And one day he's just like, "Hey, I think I can do what you do," and it's pretty cool. You're always dressed up in a suit. So I said, "All right, come work with us." So we started working, and I guess that was.
Became friends.
Was that 15 years ago, probably, or so?
Long time
Yeah.
ago.
So, he also worked at TD, so he had that financial background that.
That's important for a business.
Yeah. At the start, we didn't really know what our roles were. We just kind of did a bit of everything, and
Yeah.
thought we had a business in the first year, and we didn't. We didn't
No?
find out till late. No.
No?
It was. I mean, we had a couple gigs, but to be a business, I mean, it took.
No.
It took
And,
probably
and
5
even like
years.
DJing, so what happened was they started a marketing company together. I was making beats,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was in school, and then we did an event.
Right. Yeah.
This fundraiser for Africa. We got asked to put together the music and some of the sponsors and all
Nice.
this stuff. Still didn't DJ back then. I just played live. I played drums beside a DJ. That was kind of
Yep.
like the first gig, and then
Like a kit.
yeah, like
yeah.
a drum kit. Yeah. So I played drums as well.
Mm.
And then somebody that was at the event, they catered the food, and they owned a club called Embassy. Now it's Night School in Waterloo, Uptown.
Mm.
And then
I don't get out much.
it's across the street from the old.
You did go to
Fox.
night school, though, didn't you?
I did, but
Yeah,
not
so
that
yeah.
one.
Not the
Not
good
that
one,
one.
not the
Do you
Okay.
remember the old Fox? Now
Yeah,
now
yes,
it's Pub
yeah,
on King.
yeah.
So the old Fox right across the street.
Oh, okay. I totally-
So then they asked these guys to come in and kind of run their club.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Because they liked the way
Wow.
they put on the event, right? And then they're like, I was in school, so I couldn't really work. My program was 12 months, condensed,
Mm.
and I was commuting to Mississauga every day. So they're like, yo, why don't you DJ? And then in my head at that time, I'm like, musician, producers, DJs, right? I'd never had any interest in it,
Aspirations.
or aspirations to do anything like that.
Well, you're a musician. That's your.
That's what we said. Like, if you can play music, you probably DJ, and we needed
Well,
one. So
so
he's my little brother, right? So
Yeah.
Give a shit.
Hey, look what
You
you're
got
doing.
2
Look what you're doing.
Yeah, you got
tonight.
2 weeks to
Yeah, yeah.
learn this.
So yeah, it was kind of like that. They're like, well, we'll pay you $100 an hour.
Oh, it's not bad.
And then, I'm like, I can't work anywhere else, really, the time commitment and stuff. So
Yeah.
I was like, all right, buy me the stuff to DJ and I'll do it. And so same thing, little, what's it called? What's that company? Vestex.
Yeah.
Yeah, some little crappy red and black one.
That's what mine was, too.
Yeah.
This one was an iDJ. It's called an iDJ3 or something like that. But it was 2 turntables with a crossfader, and it wasn't even volume faders. It was the knobs.
Knobs,
The
yeah,
knobs, and
yeah,
it was
yeah.
it wasn't even bass. It just said low, mid, high.
Same one.
I don't
Yeah.
even think it said
Same
treble.
one.
Yeah.
What'd you pay?
It probably just said 1, 2, 3. If I'm probably looking at it.
Yeah, and so I have cousins that DJ too, and I just watched them DJ a few times, and I'm like, okay, I know what they're doing. And then we've been to a bunch of clubs before, and I started listening, and I'm like, okay, I know exactly what they're doing.
Mm.
So they got me the gear. I learned I taught myself in a week and a half, and then I started DJing the club, and then
In a week.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And your cousins, if I'm not mistaken, they got started from their dad as well, too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jesse and
Yeah.
John.
I ran into them at Whistle Bear.
Yeah.
I was going to do that event, and it turned out that they need something fancy for in there, like some
what's
kind.
fancy?
I think it's insurance or something like that. And
yeah.
$2 million.
I may or may not have
Senior's
that. And I
not
won't
at
talk about
that
it.
level yet.
But so I went to the wedding, and I was talking with the DJs because I was just kind of just looking at what he was doing off to the side, and he's just like, what's going on, man? I think he was worried that I was drunk and was looking to pour my drink on something. And I was just like, no, man. I said, I was just watching you were doing, and I said, I have some other buddies. I was talking about you guys that do this, and I said, I'm starting to get into it. And he's like, if you want to come spin right now.
Did you not know Jesse before that?
No, I did not.
Oh, shit.
I didn't. So
they both went to Preston, too.
Yeah, see, it's another one, though. They looked really familiar. Yeah. But I think we're the same age, and I think they're younger.
Yeah, one's older and one's younger, actually.
Yeah, but they both look like they looked familiar, but they looked like they were in younger grades than me.
There's probably 5 total Spanish guys in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ernie.
But I think I was kind of naive to say that. I didn't want to sound rude and be like, you kind of look like you're related, but.
They're all cousins. They're all cousins.
But yeah, no, they said they were your cousins. I'm like, oh, geez, okay. But yeah, no, they were nice guys too. I was talking with them.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that side got started, and then quickly. Just the club world was not for us at all. It's just a different environment. It's
I've heard that.
It's not as secure, and knowing what we know now, right? It's not. Nothing's really guaranteed.
What do you mean?
Because you can be pushed out at any time, right?
Yeah, and then sometimes they'll get you to try to sell booths, and that's how you'll get paid for the evening, or try to pay you in booze. And stuff like that.
Bottle service kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like do a good job and we'll give you 2 bottles of Grey Goose.
Yeah, so like people aren't coming out.
We're not going to pay you in money.
They're coming out to see them.
Yeah, so we'll pay you in alcohol to give to your friends, and you leave with $0. But
and like at the club, the bottle service, each bottle is like $200, right? So people think they're making $400 worth of alcohol for.
But the clubs get a deal on the alcohol.
Of course.
Yeah, so but if you bought those bottles,
at regular price still.
Yeah, $50, $40 a bottle.
You're getting ripped.
Yeah.
So you're the cool guy in town, but you're broke.
Yeah. You gotta go with bottles of Grey Goose at your house, but
yeah.
Can't pay your bills though. Oh jeez.
So, we got offered some weddings, and then once again, I was like totally against it. I was like, no way, I'm gonna DJ a wedding, man. Like, it's not my thing. I've been working so hard, like, to be a musician and make beats and stuff. I can't see myself at weddings. And then, I think the first wedding that got offered to us, just like financially, like the money that was thrown at us that day, we were like, to DJ for 4 hours, 5 hours, and they're like, yeah.
The rest is cocktails and dinner. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, like
auto mix.
Ernie, like, so I know we work a deal usually with like a wedding couple. We do $300 for the stag and dough, and if they use us for both, we give them a deal. It's like $1,000 for both. And really, the stag and dough, like you said, stag and dough start at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and you're done by like midnight, 1 o'clock. So you're not really doing much.
No.
So we're making money off the stag and dough, and then you're just making.
Wedding too. Though.
Ernie's banking on the wedding.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good money for like if you do a pretty good job. But like that's just us. Like I couldn't imagine like you guys like. Well, you don't have to talk about dollars.
No, I mean when you start out the.
Thanks for talking about mine, by the way.
People know that it's a great deal.
He meant 3,000, not 300.
No, man, it's a good deal.
Well, I mean, when we first started, it was like that, right? I mean, it's you can say this is what I charge, but it doesn't matter. I mean, people are going to pay what they think you're worth a lot of the time.
That's true.
Right? And
that's true.
When you start, you don't have a choice. I mean, it's either that or you have nothing, right? You if you don't take it, you don't make any money. So yeah, I think that's.
Well, and with his point, what we found too was once the ball started rolling, a lot of people that got offered like things like that and they can pick and choose was because they had their full-time day job.
Yeah.
Right? And then when we started going, we were like, okay, if we're going to do this, we're not doing this to be cool.
Yeah.
We're not doing this because we have nothing else to do and we want to be away from our families on the weekend. It was like
this is your passion.
Well, music is our passion, and there was just this lane that we saw that there's super saturated, but we didn't feel anybody was doing it in a way that we thought we could. And so that's where it was like, okay, well, we're gonna build a brand, we're gonna get to charge what we think we're worth, we get to dress well, and we get to eat well.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we started doing, and then I guess now it's 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years.
So from when you guys first started till now, it's 7 years?
From our first gig at the clubs, it was 2012. It was I remember it was just after Christmas. Technically, we got it right before Christmas, but that one was a flop. We probably had about 40 people at the club. because it was right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And then we came back in January.
They wanted us to sell it as like a pre-New Year's party.
Yeah, like a pre-New Year's party.
They were just it was
Weird.
bad. Yeah.
Weird.
It was super weird.
You got to remember the weather is just awful, so nobody's going to just come out. But
Yeah.
yeah, January came along, and we ended up selling out. So what our tactic was at the club was one of our good buddies, Chris, and I'm sure you know Aki, Chris Aki.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
so he was at Laurier, which was down the road, and it was like, why don't you come and party and then bring all your friends? So usually I think a lot of the club stuff is like you get all the girls and the guys show up. We tried a different way and got all the guys to come, and the girls actually followed, which was pretty cool.
That's pretty rad.
It was unexpected. We would poster all downtown, all university with. So there was like a war. Like if the pole had different posters on it, we would completely cover it. Like we did on. I don't remember the actual colors, but I know there was like a turquoise bluish was the Fridays, and I think the red was like the Saturdays, right?
Mhm.
So at one point you could walk down on University, and it would be like a red pole, blue pole, like the whole way down. And the second we saw somebody post something up, we would rip it down. It was like war.
You had like a knife ready to go and just...
not the brass knuckles like
Scissors.
No, I meant to cut off.
no, we
the
just pull them off
paper.
with our hands, or we tape on top of it.
They had those left-handed scissors, safety ones.
Yeah. So yeah, and we took it really serious, and like you said, it just wasn't for us. We got ripped off quite a bit when it came to selling out the club, and then at the end of the night they give you like $1,500, and you're like, where's the rest? And they're like, this is what we got, and it's so. Weddings, like you said, was a totally different game. It was people, pay you in advance and they pay you in full, and they're happy to be paying that, and it's the best day of their life, and all you got to do is not screw up. And if you play a song that they don't like, find a song that they do like.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine starting at a club though. Because I know my first gig, I was just shaking the whole time.
It was no pressure because we ran it, right? Like, so,
I guess.
So Mike and I would do all the promotion and hire the promoters and get everything together, and then.
And I was DJing for the same 20 loyal friends.
Yeah, so you're just enjoying.
So you're doing it in
Yeah.
front of friends, yeah.
And you're confident. It's your background. This is what you do.
Yeah. I've been playing in front of people since I was 8 years old. Yeah,
same deal. My brother and
I.
I, same deal, right? Like with music. But
I was gonna just talk about that. So I think do you think that's what puts you above? You're talking about how you're presenting yourself differently than most people. Like what is different? How are you different? How would you describe it than most?
What I
get
think,
asked that so much.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of things. It's not just one secret answer. I mean, we're very fast with emails and communication, which is I think the number one thing.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to chase their DJ
Or wait
3
for an
weeks
answer,
for
Because that's the last thing to worry about.
Well, you have so much stuff going on, and
Yeah.
you've paid a lot of money for somebody to come for this one day.
Yeah.
And it's 2 weeks before, and he's not answering his emails.
And they don't want to worry,
Right.
Because they got a lot on their mind.
So and the other thing is, I mean, we've always been open. Like, we love music in general. So what I consider good music and what you do, probably different. But when you find that common, area, if you will, that you enjoy what you're playing, but people are reacting it to a way that they're enjoying it. It's pretty easy from there.
Yeah.
Right? It's, you can't say, oh, this is what I like to play. So, and that's what we had heard a lot of DJs where, this is what you get at 11 o'clock. You get Rihanna, whether you like it or not.
I'm serious.
Yeah. It was like, this is, I know what it, like from what we understood. We talked to a lot of planners, and I mean. It didn't just, okay, here's a wedding, and like we went door to door from every venue from here to Niagara, up north, like we went everywhere, and a lot of doors were not even close to opening before we started getting busy in weddings. But everything that we heard was that DJs are all the same. They just come play whatever they want, and a lot of brides. I read a lot of reviews and stuff. It's like, I told them my first dance, and I told them what version. And the day of, they didn't have it. It's like they played the same song, but it was a different version. And people just a lot of people I think got just used to it, just be like, oh, this is what they do. And the venues
Really?
the venues that we had approached, they're like, we think that you guys can do better, if right, and that's what happened. We made it about them.
We also attended a lot of weddings, just
growing
happened to
up,
be that way growing up, and it was always that, right? It was I guess the stereotype was just very true of like what a wedding DJ was for a long time, right? It was kind of
like that cha-cha slide, same old.
Yeah, it's like you pay money to go see a DJ at your wedding, and right from the start we said, well, let's do a service where you're hiring us.
Yeah, we
work for you. Yeah, it's not the other way. You're not. Yeah. I'm not a club DJ. I mean, even though we were doing clubs, I mean, people weren't coming to the clubs and being like, I need you at my wedding. I'm dying to hear you, right? So it was like, can you guys play on my music? This is what I like, right? So
yeah, they're not hiring you because they like your set.
Exactly.
They like you.
They like your mixing style.
Yeah.
They like your attitude. Yeah. They like I mean, you got to think a wedding DJ is just as important as any vendor out there, and to us, I mean, obviously we're biased because it's our end, but it's like this guy has to sit there with your family, and your mom or your dad is going to come up and say, hey, can you turn it down and turn it up? If you can't even be nice enough to turn it down, or you don't want to hear about it, and you just have this attitude about you, how long are you going to last?
It's definitely the attention to detail. Like, I've only done a couple with Ernie, but even the ones that we do, we're conscious of the crowd. We're like, okay, this isn't working.
How loud are everybody talking to each other?
Are they chatting? Yeah. Like, is this gonna are people standing up? And then Ernie's side of it is like, okay, should I keep the beats per minute up at this point, keeping everybody on the floor? But like, you're reading the crowd. Like,
you're reading the crowd, and you're also mixing stuff that the bride and groom have asked you to. Like, right? So
yes,
just because they're their guests doesn't mean they like their music either.
And
right?
and
that's
being
where
careful.
It becomes, that's where it becomes.
And being careful not to play certain things that are being requested, even if they are requested, because it's just like I had Ice Cube requested at 9:00, at 9:30, sorry, and the first dance, the last dance was the bridal party, and that happened at 9:15, and I'm like, I'll play this song, but let's do it later.
Yeah.
Because I don't think at 9:15 Nana wants to down to
as you get confident, I think that's
she doesn't want to put her ass into it at 9:30 at night.
I think as you get confident and you do a few, you have that control of saying, no problem, I'm going to get to it.
Yep.
But no, I mean.
And it's the way of handling that too. It's like,
well, yeah, if you just say don't worry, I'll play it, and then you don't play for an hour, that guy might come back twice as hammered,
drunk, and then try to mess your stuff up.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll just say, yeah, man, I got it into a set.
Ernie writes it down. He goes, yeah, and he writes it down. Not that you don't do it, but you do it, and the person goes, oh, you wrote it down, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I type it out. Like, I have a notepad up, and people come request, and I just
I mean, you're 100% sober as a DJ. I mean, for our guys, I don't know about you, Ernie, but
no, I don't drink.
You don't drink either. Yeah, so we, I mean,
Stag and Does.
Yeah,
I will have maybe two.
Well, because they bring,
but I'm never having.
Yeah, so I mean, we've had brides that are like, my DJ has to get hammered. We're like, thank you, but no, you don't want to see him hammered. But when you have alcohol in the mix, and somebody's important day, and I think the issue a lot of time is that the uncle that's never really around that day, he's the most important guy because he's the bride's uncle. Whatever he's very high strung about what he wants to hear. It's very hard to tell him no, because the bride might have already said, hey, we don't want to hear this, and then he's coming up, and then he's coming up a couple times, and he's coming more and more drunk.
Ask him for like some hardcore music during like.
Well, I had that at a stag. I had that at a Stag and Doe about 3 weeks ago. Same deal. The guy's just like, so I've had about enough of country.
People. Yeah.
Can we play some grunge music? And I'm like, I tell you what, I'll make it the last song of the night. How about we do that? And he just laughed, and I was like, well, I guess I don't gotta play it now.
Yeah. No, we get that all the time. People are just like,
yeah, the biggest one's probably, hey, when are you gonna start playing some real music?
That's my favorite. Oh, I'm glad. Oh man. Oh yeah. Can we slow the music down a little bit? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean slow it down? Like, do you want like a slow dance kicked in or sometime soon, or what are you shooting for? No, there's stuff I can't dance to this.
Oh.
And it takes all of my being to just be like, well, they seem to have figured it out.
Yeah, there's 200 people dancing, and there's 2 people pissed off.
Yeah.
And you think that,
Yeah, or do you ever get it like somebody in the family just comes and stands beside you or behind you, and you look over and they're like, what's next on the playlist? And I don't know if I don't play off a playlist. I don't have a playlist. I'm reading the crowd the whole time.
I'll pick like as I'm going, just because I know what I want to play next. But I'll never have more than like 10, and it's as I'm going.
Yeah. So I do the same thing. So people be like, "What are you playing next?"
I don't know.
But you can't say, I don't know, because then they're just like, what do you mean you don't know?
Did you ever get
I was just like, what do you want to hear?
Yeah.
I'll play that.
My favorite
Wow.
so far has been the guy standing beside the speaker. Man, this is really loud.
Get
I was
away.
like, hey, 10 feet to the left. Let's see how that sounds.
You know what's weird?
Oh, man.
For some reason, they always sit the grandparents next to the speakers.
Yeah, up front. Why?
Yeah,
Why are you
that's
sitting
true.
up front?
That's true.
And then they ask you to turn it down, and
Yeah,
people in
yeah.
the back are like, you can't hear it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was cocktail hour and dinner hour. Can we turn this down a little bit?
You can see all of Ernie's stresses.
Oh, man. I feel so good.
I
man.
understand you, man.
Yeah.
He does this on himself. Like, I just do a setup. I'll go and set it up, and Ernie, his stress comes out, and I just can't handle it. I'm like, I can't sit with you, man. I can't sit with you. You got to just deal with it. You got to do your own. So then he'll go, that was pretty good. I had a good night, or that was fucking brutal. Like, he'll just, like, text me later. But, like, Ernie deals with the whole thing, and he organizes the whole thing. I remember the one time I showed up on one of his weddings, and he talked to the bride at the beginning of everything, had it all organized. Ernie typed it all out, had the times and stuff, and the what was it? The camera guy was like, "Do you know when things are happening?" And he goes, "Yep, it's right here." Hands it to him. He's like, "Where'd you get this?" "Oh, I did it." Ernie had it all set up. So he does the prep. He takes the time. He makes those extra little steps to make sure that on the day of, he knows what's up. He just got to set up.
But you got to be organized. And
Just
that's the thing, and it's if you show up just looking like an idiot
But
with,
if you're
with a
stressed
laptop,
out, if he's stressed out and like some little thing freaks out, and like what if he like if a DJ storms out, like leaves or something, like like I don't know, it's interesting. The whole thing is interesting.
but it's true though. Like it's like the performing thing. Like my brother and I both broke.
We broke?
Jeez, little wheeze. Grew up with music, so I started trombone when I was 8.
I don't know what the word broke had to do with any of the
I don't know.
Maybe
It sounded like
broke
bro.
musicians.
Broke.
I tried to be a musician and got broke.
But
Yeah.
so he started out with trumpet at 8. I
No,
think it was
6.
6.
Wow.
So yeah. So we've been playing for a long time, and then piano as well. No, I didn't keep up
what
with
grade
piano
are
as
you
good
in
as I
piano?
should have.
8?
Did you do the conservatory?
I don't know how to read music.
Fun fact.
What?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
George all
I
George
year.
hated the
all year.
conservatory.
Yeah, I started in a conservatory.
Did you
and-
really?
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
So this is like no lie at all. I was doing one of my tests, and my teacher, she was like, thinking back now, she must have been like early. It felt like 70s. Like she was.
They're all early 70s,
Yes,
and they're
yeah.
all so
Mine
like,
was
brutal.
a church
Dude,
player.
All
I'm
of them.
Listen, she fell asleep
Yes. Yeah.
during my test, and that day I told my dad, I'm like, I'm never going back. I hate this. Like it's so boring.
Pretty stingy. Yeah.
What was
It was
that?
pretty bad.
What was that contest that we did? What was that?
Kiwanis?
The Kiwanis?
I didn't do.
You never do any of
We
those?
got forced into that all the time.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah. Here, dance monkey, dance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's
you
a
were-
ribbon.
Yeah, but he was the golden child though. Ernie's the musician.
Oh, so he's your
family.
George.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm a musician, but I'm not like quality of him.
I play drums and I don't even ever bring it up because of that. They're like, oh, like, what have you done? It's like,
A little bit.
He's good too.
So
yeah.
no.
He's good,
no,
You
no,
guys
no,
should
no.
start a band.
No way.
Should.
No way.
Trumpet and drums.
No way.
No, we kill each other.
Ernie and I, when we play together.
I mean, you two, the unsung heroes.
Oh, yeah.
that's
That's
the
a
band
bunch of
name right
stuff.
there.
I play a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah. So
Grunge band.
yeah, we've done. Ernie's. Yeah, we've done tons of music.
But yeah,
Like, we-
performing in front of people was just
Kiwanis
never a
Music
problem.
Festivals.
Talking in front of people was
We did,
never
like,
a problem.
What else did we do? We did a
Kiwanis Music Festival.
No, we've said that already. But like
and then
bands,
local
bugle
bands.
corps.
I did.
marching
I did.
bands.
Yeah, you did the Air March Band. He played in the what was that thing? The Highland Games.
So like I played bagpipes too.
Oh, that's cool.
I played that for 5 years, and then now I play snare. I march snare like
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
I
just
know what you're talking about.
thinking of other things
They
like-
do the side
like-
ones.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
play a bunch of stuff, but like he went. So you guys know this. Ernie was in the Waterloo Symphony. He was in the Junior Waterloo Symphony.
That
No,
I,
I,
did- that,
just
that-
found out he
that-
played trombone. Like
Yeah,
what
we
was
had
it?
that
Photo shoot.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing.
The photo shoot he never showed up to.
So Golden Boy here. So we have this. There's this old.
There was a
there's
gig too.
Shots
There's
fired.
this old guy who was our teacher, like growing up, and he was an old
Salvation
Salvation
Army.
Army guy. So if you don't know what that is, like this guy's like straight hardcore, practice every week for an hour every day, and you have to show up to your lessons and you have to be prepared or he rings you out.
And you have
like
to cry at
I
every
would be
lesson.
like leaving crying as a kid, like he would screaming at you. Not him. He doesn't even practice, and he just shows up. He's
yeah.
good, and he plays trombone. So the old guy plays trombone as well. So he's the golden boy. He's getting first place in Kiwanis. He's doing all this stuff, and he's doing great. I'm just like the lonely trumpet player, like So I quit going to him, and so I learned to play jazz trumpet. I went and was playing. So, but this is like, yeah, you try to compete. So you're competing with him. So when Ernie and I would play together in like church or like I don't know, anything, I'd be like, oh my god, I'm gonna screw this up. So I'd just be like improvising on the side, and he'd just go, what are you doing? And like yell, and like we're in front of like 100 people. I'm just like, should we just keep playing? And then he's just like,
sounds exactly like
so
George.
We can't play together.
Oh, yeah. We used to play in church as well.
He's a perfectionist. He's an absolute perfectionist.
Yeah, it drove me nuts. It's like, this is an improvised session. This is play what's on the music.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
He would say,
nope.
keep. He's like, you're playing drums. You're supposed to stay on beat. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? I'm just like, well, that's not helping.
fan beat.
Well, because
right?
he's the
So
trumpet,
you're
so
dragging,
he
you're
gets the cool
dragging.
part, and I got to play the background. Let's keep it going.
I'm not a perfectionist. So
Gary Connick?
so my
No,
thing.
I'm not a perfectionist like George.
Yeah.
Like I like having fun and
Yeah.
a little as rules as possible.
Yeah, like I was gonna go to Humber for school, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
No, it's too snotty for me, and I don't think I could do it. So
I've driven George to gigs, and he's literally practicing in the car, like listening to the stuff in the car.
Yep.
And I'm like, did you not have time to? He's like, no, I didn't. And he goes in and kills it.
it's talent.
Different talent, yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably what brings your brand to a different level.
Yeah.
Right?
I was gonna say the playing in church. Once you mentioned it, well, the church we grew up in, it was very like
strict.
they just assumed you knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
same with
So
us.
like
And
somebody
they're at
that
church,
doesn't know how to sing goes up, and then they just start singing,
and they're really
and
good.
they're like, no, they're really bad.
Oh.
And they're like, you're the church musician, follow me. And they start singing. You got to figure out what key they're singing in, figure out the song as they're singing it, even if you've never heard it. Or else they'll be like, don't you know this song? Like in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So that's how
Did
you
your
learn
church
to
clap?
Oh, our church had like full band
What kind
and
of church
everything.
was it?
Pentecostal.
Pentecostal.
Yeah.
Cool.
We played salsa at our
Like
church.
salsa,
Oh, did you?
rock.
We were Mennonite,
reggae.
so it was all music you had to dust off.
Hymns and like
Oh.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we played like off stuff, like we came and just played like a contemporary piece on the trumpet and the trombone or something. They loved it because it was different, and we were like two kids who could
They don't
play.
clap though.
But
So they wouldn't clap?
no,
No.
you're not allowed to clap.
Not allowed to clap.
So they would just
Just give you like
be
a nod, like that.
No.
Yeah.
Which is odd.
That was
Nice.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going somewhere.
It was pretty. It was. It
We
was
acknowledge
so,
you were standing there.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about growing up in that atmosphere. Like
There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just learn to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety.
A lot of our younger guys, audio, that are really good with audio, come from churches.
Yeah. And they're on time, and they're great guys.
Yeah.
Good moral values.
Great place to
sound.
find
Yeah.
guys to work.
Well, they don't get
So-
offended by an older person being like, "Hey, do this," versus like, "Hey, excuse me, could you please?" If they're just like, "Hey, can you turn that down?" They're like, "Yeah,
Yes,
no
sir.
problem."
Yes, sir. No problem.
Turn it down.
Yeah, it's a respect thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of that these days, and like you're saying in the DJ world, like you're saying, so they say, I want you to play this version by this guy, and I go, well, I'm gonna play this version. I don't really care what you think. Like,
Yeah.
is that attention to detail? And then they go, I'm never gonna tell you I'm gonna tell my friends about this DJ ever again.
I couldn't imagine telling a bride to do that though.
Like, how many-
Like, even starting, because they're paying you to play the music they want you to
Yeah.
play. Why wouldn't you just play it?
And I always teach my guys that too, right? When we're training them, it's like when somebody asks for a request, that's gold. Like if you don't know what they're gonna
Yeah.
dance to, and somebody comes up and says, "Play this song," well, play it, even if you don't think it goes properly. If 10 people are telling you, "If you play this right now, I'm gonna dance," how can you be like, "No, I think I'm gonna go this
They
way."
gave me a 3-hour list of the music they wanted to hear. I'm just like, what do I get to do for the rest of the night? Do you want me to do your taxes? What do you want me to do? Like they like you say, it's like they're just giving it to you.
But if you do a good job, like, is that how you guys get your other gigs? Like, people hear, like, wow, look at this event, and then
Do you get a lot of them
move on
at
and move
other
on?
gigs?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm doing one this year where it's like the
Probably
sixth
fifth or sixth
from the same group of friends.
Wow.
Like we did one guy, and then we did his sister's wedding, and then
Two
his
sisters.
Yeah, two sisters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Went from there.
That's
and-
awesome, man.
I've got two. I got two so far that are kind of continuing from the first one I did.
That's
Yeah, and
really
you'll see it.
cool.
You'll have a random guy that's just been to both weddings,
Mhm.
and then he gets married, and then his groomsmen are getting married
Yep.
as well, and it just
They
it
want to
just
use
goes-
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they see what you guys put out.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the last Dag and Doe I did there in Wellesley, I think it was, or Wellington or something like that, out by New Hamburg.
Repeat customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So besides the DJing, so you guys do live music as well?
Mhm. Yeah, we have.
Do you have like musicians on your like
on our roster? Yeah.
That's cool.
We've
Like what kind of music do they play?
So for the last I guess almost 6 years. We did have like a singer in a band. We had multiple singers, multiple band members, and we would puzzle together bands depending on what people wanted. Now, just because of the way the business is growing, and we really try to simplify. Like even our wedding package. I mean, we have one wedding package now. We used to do a lot of extras, and I know sales rule number one is add on, right? Always add on. What else can they take? And lucky for us, we got a really good contract, and we haven't had to do that anymore. It's basically one good package, and it works. You know, we think it has everything that you need as a wedding, and most couples agree. So what we've done is we've narrowed to that, and then the same thing with musicians. We narrowed it down to a pianist, which obviously playing keyboard, but piano, sax, or guitar. So they can be individually, or they can be as a group, as a duo, as a trio. But the main thing is that there's no singer, so it's a little bit easier to replace if something happens.
Yeah.
You don't book a musician thinking in a year and a half he might be sick on that day, you know. So it's very hard when somebody falls in love with somebody's voice, and then a year and a half later they can't make, because everybody thinks so far in advance, right? So
like you just had one for the next year, 2020 June.
Yeah,
just
just before I got him here today.
Like
everything's so far away, and I remember before my meetings too. Like so, I do sales. Mike does the back end. He does like the accounting and all the financial stuff, the contracts, the lawyer stuff, and bookkeeping and all that stuff. George does the music side of things, trains our DJs, and makes sure that they're all on the right laptop and so on. So for sales, I used to be like, I'll be at your wedding next August, you know, a year from now. And even though I wasn't DJing, I would just go and, you know, say hi to the couple and which was great. But you fast forward where we are now, we're doing 5-6 a day.
What?
Yeah, so on a week we'll do what?
Last week we did 13
weddings. So I can't physically be at all the weddings anymore.
Oh my God.
Right? So I've gotten better at not promising myself. It's more of the team. So same, back to your question about the musicians, it's like, you know, if you have a sax player and that sax player gets sick, you probably won't even know, because we'll take care of it on the back end.
Yeah, and sax player.
Yeah, and we can replace it, and they'll still play exactly what you want to hear. So that's what we've.
And we do the same with our DJ, which was always thought out from the get-go. If you notice any of our branding, any of our anything, it's never us. It's never a face. There's never a face. It's always the logo.
The logo.
You know, any big company that you love,
there's no face.
Apple, Nike, whatever,
maybe like
their logos have nothing to do with what they do, right? So it's like you just recognize the brand, and you know, if you buy an Apple product, if that logo's on there, you know it's quality, right? So that's what we always wanted to do. Whoever we send out is going to be quality. We're never just going to outsource and book 1,000 gigs, call a bunch of guys, just be like, hey, you want gigs? It was never like that. So that's why we grew really slow. And then
because you were using your face as your
no, it's brand.
Your brand, right? Is that what you're saying at first, though?
No.
We never
used.
It was always called 586. So, you know,
yeah.
But they were hiring you for you when you started, though.
Well,
right?
they still hire us for who we are,
for
our communication. Like, they know us personally.
To get you started.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
But what we're getting at is whoever's there on the day representing us.
Yeah.
Because chances are it won't be Mike, myself, or George now.
Yeah.
You know, if we have 5-6 weddings, and you know, those 6 guys that are out there representing us, all have been trained by us, and all, you know, have our standards and approval before they go.
So do you all three of you, do you decide on who you bring on to work for you guys?
Yeah, 100%. Everything's.
You guys all got to be kind of.
We're all.
It's awesome. Like if you were to come one day and hang out with when all our guys get together, you just see this common thread.
Yeah.
Everybody just gets along.
Everybody's on the same page.
Everybody's on the same page. It's just super easy going, guys, and
that's so important.
Yeah.
Like a team, just for everybody being on the same page. And
everybody's working towards the same goal. And
yeah. It's cool now because everybody has their own personalities and styles and whatnot. And you know, we have a couple guys that are at Laurier. We have a guy that is a pilot instructor. He's going to be a commercial pilot, and he does his as well, right? So the guys that we have are not random. Hey, I DJ, cool, come work for us. It's a lot of the guys actually have never DJed in their life. They're just into music, and they might be looking for a part-time job, and they somehow get brought to us, or we find them and approach random guys if we think that it would work, and then we teach them everything. It's so much easier to teach somebody from start.
Yep.
I was just about to ask you, is it easier from like people that are teaching to get rid of bad habits, or is it people that, like just right
you can't get rid of those bad habits.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard.
Yeah.
Especially in this, like I said, if somebody's been doing it for 10 years, like we did a hiring post not too long.
I saw that.
Right? Yeah,
I saw that, yeah.
So we had guys coming in, and the first thing they were telling us is that we were using the wrong mixers and the wrong.
Oh God.
We shouldn't be using Apple laptops, and Pioneer is dated now, and blah blah blah. We have a team of guys. I mean, I think you've used Angus Audio as well. But they're in town. They do rentals as well.
Okay.
But Angus, basically, they've been able to give us the best of the best within what we needed, right? So, light speakers, but powerful. Making sure that the right laptops with the right controller, and so on and so on. So what we've done is been able to set the system that we know works. So when you get somebody that has been DJing for 10, 15 years, and the first thing he says to you is that we're doing it wrong. Meanwhile, they're doing,
it's a foot out the door.
they're doing 5 weddings a year. We're doing almost 400 now.
Yeah.
You can't tell me we're doing something wrong, right?
Yeah.
So it's very hard to tell those guys, no, this is the way we do it, and they don't want to hear it. So a lot of the guys that we found have just been young guys who love music, never would have thought that DJing was a thing for them, and then we bring them in. Now it's nice. I mean, we have an office where they can come in, they can train, and then we start sending them to events. We do a lot of like sporting events, fashion shows, high school proms.
Yeah, because your office is right at that building too, right?
Yeah, at Core Complex.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Right by Conestoga College. So it's very accessible.
Wow.
And your office has come a long way.
Yeah, I think you've seen it.
I saw when you guys still had the rackets on the walls.
Yeah, it was a tennis pro shop, and we were doing events there. We were doing like beach volleyball, so we would DJ, and we still do it, but they'll have like a beach volleyball league, co-ed league, and then our DJs are DJing on the patio, and we were there quite a bit, and then we went up to the owner and just said, hey, we're here quite a bit. You guys have a space where we can kind of leave some equipment.
There you go.
There you go.
That way you can sit up.
Yeah,
You're
you-
good.
Not so
You're good, man.
hunchback.
you can
Yeah,
lean
yeah,
back
yeah.
a little.
That's
Go
bad.
towards you.
There you go.
Yeah,
Relax.
so we talked to him and said, hey, is there a space where we can leave our equipment here? And it started with like a little closet, and then this other space came available, and it was a tennis pro shop, but it was kind of not going to be that anymore, and we saw the opportunity, and then we went in there. But
All we did was ask.
Right?
yeah,
Just gonna ask, man.
just like Ernie asked for hats, and we keep forgetting.
Ernie asks for everything from every single guest that has a business. We always get something like
So
that.
Well, I think that's cool though.
No,
I mean,
no.
I everything I wear now for some reason is other buddies' companies.
Well, that's what this was.
Yeah.
I did that charity event for them,
Yeah, we did a charity event.
and I rock it every time.
I'm
People
not
are like,
saying it's a bad thing. It's just funny. It's a laughing point.
and I use it as
Haha.
advertising as well, because when
Absolutely.
we asked our friend that's coming on for that hashtag hope, the guy who's bringing us a shirt, and I said that
Bunch
I'm
of shirts
gonna,
and stuff.
yeah, and I
Yep.
said, well, we'll use that as advertising for him and advertising for us, right?
Yeah, no. People are
So-
very generous. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, nobody's gonna turn you down from wearing your stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's
And
free
branding
advertising.
and
it's
Yeah.
good advertising.
Yeah.
Advertising is great. So, I was gonna ask with so you played piano and that. So, did you set up like the training for DJs? Did you just that's your baby? Like you bring
Mhm.
people on and that's your whole thing. Like, how do you start someone off who has no idea? You would rather have someone green coming in, have no idea, and be like, "This is what you got to do." Like, what do you tell them to look for? Like, what's
So
like,
Jeremy, that would rather go, you know how like you go like 90 beats per minute or 100. He's like, what if I just touch this little dial and make it 91?
Yeah.
I've never done that. Why
Because
throw me
it's
on the
like
bus?
it's like
Yeah,
making
I get it,
jazz
yeah.
jazz out of not jazz.
Yes. So like,
First things first, can you count to 4 on time?
yep.
You wouldn't believe how hard that is sometimes for people.
And that's all it is, I find. And then I just try to break it down from there.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
And then I always start with
Yeah.
house music, 128 BPM, no words, and then start showing them how to transition this, play this song, teach them how to count bars. Just count 4 bars, play the song in your headphone for 4 bars, bring the fader in at half of another 4 bars, take the bass out for 4 bars, transition to the next song.
Yeah.
Get them to do that for like an hour.
Just continue doing it.
Yeah, no words, right? So it's not distracting.
So they can just focus on that.
Then eventually, a song with singing at 128. 128 is always the easiest I find, right? Because it's just that kick, yeah. And then that's kind of how I start with everyone.
And you guys are using predominantly Serato, right?
Yeah, Serato.
Did you start out with Serato?
Virtual DJ.
Serato. What is Serato?
It's
I'm waiting to I was waiting to hear that comment.
What was that?
You just asked what
I'm going to stop taking pictures of it.
What is Serato? Just because
it's the DJing software.
Okay.
So
with actually 90% of the controllers now come with Serato.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to find ones that come with Virtual DJ.
Yeah, it just kind of became the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like a giant library of your music, and then that's how you. Yeah, it's a software, so you just control it with your controller. That's how I do it. Yeah.
So it's the software set up with the controller itself, and people
which, when you were asking earlier, that's another big advantage that I think that separated us in the beginning. We came off at like the tail end of DJing being like fully MP3.
Oh yeah.
Right, so we never bought CDs or never bought vinyl or bought those things, and there's so many people that have been doing it for so long that came from that world that didn't want to transition, and I think that's where a lot of those people were I'm going to play what I want. Well, that's because they only had access to those things, right?
I get that guy come to booth too, eh? Man, this must be so easy for you.
Yeah, back in my day, I used to have to carry this. I used to have to bring
you just be like, were you wearing your grandma's pajamas when you were DJing too?
I used to have to bring my wife to gigs.
Yeah.
Carry all the... Yeah, you get that a lot.
Yeah.
Even I've been there, and the guys been like, yeah, you guys have it easy now. These DJs these days.
They're not real DJs, yeah.
Okay.
I get that all the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, man.
DJs aren't real, but...
Congratulations. You should be out saving Gotham and not here.
It's like it's the exact same thing, right? It's just your crates or whatever you want to call it.
You still have
in
to
the
transition
laptop
properly. You still have to keep it going. Like it's not like you're just like changing songs completely different genres instantaneously. Like there's a bit of a there's a skill involved. There's a skill.
Yeah.
One thing to add to that too. I mean, right from the start, like I said, we went to Angus and Marshall, who works there. He basically gave us the rundown. This is what other people are using. If you want to do it right, this is the way. It's going to be more expensive. So right from the start, what we did is we actually went to Apple. Pioneer headquarters, I believe, is in New Zealand. Was it? Or is that
Serato?
I think Serato's in New Zealand and Pioneer. So we actually contacted each company and said, this is what we're doing, this is what we're thinking. And they're actually more helpful than you think, because they set us up on a platform where one DJ can buy the music and the rest of them get it. So yeah, it's more expensive.
No way.
Yeah, but in the end, I mean, I don't know, we have probably over 30,000 songs, and you think at $1 a song, it's a lot of money over years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't want to take those shortcuts to just get that gig. And I think that's another thing. I mean, like I said, it's multiple things that'll set us apart from, just your regular DJ, if you will, and why people pay what they pay for us is because we it's not just our service; it's also the quality. I mean, we use Electro Voice speakers for everything. It's no secret. I've heard of guys coming up to our DJs and saying like, "What are you using? I've never heard
Electro Voice."
Yeah, we use ZLX, ZLX.
Oh, EVs. Oh, yeah.
And like I said, everything's Pioneer and Apple. So right from the start, we wanted to have a standard, not just you can imagine 5 DJs having 5 different software. If something happens, and this stuff does happen. I mean, it's technology. So we're at a point now where if something does crash or something does happen at a wedding, we're very good at being able to control that with our phones and just be able to talk somebody through it. Because chances are it's happened somewhere else, and by everybody having the same controller, the same laptop, the same accounts, it allows
it's easier
you
to narrow
problem
down.
Problem solve.
Like like a DJ will send me, hey, I can't get this going. Send me a picture of the mixer. I can tell right away by a button that they haven't pressed down. There's a mute or there's a pan that's not right. And it's a lot easier to troubleshoot when you have. I mean, if in a perfect world, all 5 weddings would be in the same city, or in the same hall, right? I mean, sometimes you got a guy 2 hours up north. You have another one up in Niagara, and then you have another one in Elora, and then maybe 2 in town. So you can't physically go to every wedding if something goes wrong, right? So those standards were something that we took very serious from the start.
So you predominantly set up, or will the DJ set up? I remember the last time you were talking, you were saying that like a lot of times you guys will do the setup.
If we can, and it's within reason for us to be able to do it, because what happens now, the busier we get too, a lot of couples want to meet me on Saturdays or Sundays or Fridays for that matter. So it's very hard for me to do that. But I think when we talked, it was almost a year ago, I think.
Yeah.
Things were a little bit different. So what I do, and all my guys know that if I can, if they have a wedding at, starts at 4:00 cocktails, and I'm out and about already in the mornings, I'll go and do their setup, 10 a.m., 9 a.m. It's nice because nobody's there. You're not interfering with anybody's loading, and because once you get to like 3 hours before, it's like everybody shows up, the cake shows up, the flowers are there, right, and then you got to think a lot of places will have 2 or 3 rooms with 1 elevator, right? So you try to speed things up for guys and make it easier. So I haven't had a guy complain saying that all they had to do is show up with the DJ controller and the speakers were already set up. So
when you said so
a lot of that we'll go. I'll go and well, the nice thing is now we actually have some great relationships with some venues that we're allowed to keep equipment on site.
Yeah, I've heard.
Right,
that,
so
That's awesome.
Yeah, we literally go to the basement or upstairs to a closet, and our stuff is there. So
nice.
Because
we're there so much. Yeah, you got to think a lot. Like the first place that we did that was Hacienda. I mean,
you guys are
probably
there. Like I'm surprised if you're not there right now.
Like over 50 times, over 50 times a year.
Yeah.
Right.
Holy
so
shit.
when you're there 2-3 times.
Thursday, Friday this week.
Yeah, so you're there so much, it actually makes their life easier too, because you're not taking up their load indoors as well, right? So yeah, whenever we can, we do that. Like especially me, because I know the venues really well. I did setups for George when we were starting. I would do the setups, he would do the DJing. So,
Were you just as picky about the setup?
About
the setup?
Well, his setup guy was really good, so
okay.
Yeah.
I don't think there was much.
I trained him well.
Good. Yeah,
I'm
there
the
you go.
setup guy. He's always giving me a heck. Oh, I want the cord there. Don't tape that down there. I want this to be facing 45 degrees this way. Okay. That's why I'm going home in about 10 minutes. Oh, man. So, do you guys have a lot of venues that you're just kind of like, not piggybacking on, but like they love you, they know you, like in the city, like all over Ontario?
If we didn't have that, I don't think we'd be where we are.
Because that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it without those relationships.
Yeah. That's key.
It's key because the couples, they put so much trust in these venues, right? They're paying a lot of money to be there, and if they're telling you, hey, most people just get married once, if they can. So it's just
if they went to church. sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Shots fired.
So you have this one shot to make this amazing party.
Yeah.
And a lot of couples that we meet that are around our age are super busy.
Yeah.
They're not gonna go.
Meet with 6
we'll go to all these clubs.
Shopping for
it's really hard for them, right?
Simple.
Yeah. So then
One-stop shopping.
they were on lists, and people say, this is who we recommend, and then they take a look at our Instagram, website, reviews, and then they meet us in person, and then they're just like, we just wanted to make sure you're not weird.
Yeah.
Will other venues tell other venues recommend you guys as well? Do you ever find that?
Well,
I mean,
there's a one of the contracts. Well, one of the lists we're on is with Pearl.
Yeah.
They own 6-7 venues, so those venues would tell each other, right? So it's like yes and no.
So
they're different venues, but they're still the same company.
Yeah. What is Pearl? Sorry.
Pearl Hospitality. So they own Cambridge Mill, Whistlebear,
Holy
Farm,
shit,
Spencer's,
guys.
Laura Mill.
You guys are straight facing. I'm shocked over here. This is awesome. Those are some big places. Cambridge Mill,
Yeah, and Castle Mill. So Pearl Hospitality, they own 6 venues that do weddings, plus they own Earth to Table, Bread Bar as well. They've been amazing with us. So the first wedding we actually did was at Whistle Bear. There was a DJ that got double booked, and we had approached them and left our number, and they actually reached out to us. So we did it. It went great. So
the day of.
No, it was like
a
a week
think,
of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that came from that too, though, there was a girl at that wedding who followed our Instagram for a year, and then she got married and booked us at the Cambridge Mill, where she worked.
She just came and said, "I'm ready to book." And
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
So like
No.
she never inquired nothing. She just followed our Instagram for a year, without saying
Your
anything.
Instagram's great, by the way.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you.
I'm on Instagram quite a bit for like the podcast Instagram and other things, and like I just was looking on it. And I'm like, whoa, this is super professional. And like you said, there's no face, it's just a brand.
Yeah.
I couldn't pick you guys out. I'm like, I know you guys, but I couldn't see. Like, I think there was like one photo of you guys there,
Yeah.
and you're all in. That's like a big group photo.
That was a DJ show.
So like,
I think it was the three you're standing.
But
all
I'm
in a
looking
row.
Oh, there's
Right.
just the three of us.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Okay.
was that award thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That was the only one I showed him. I showed them that like about half an hour before you guys
Yeah.
showed up,
Well, no, not really. I was looking on this week. I was one posted about it.
just to make sure you
And I
didn't
just
look like
followed
Fabian
him
again.
and stuff, whatever. But like just going through it, I'm like, whoa, super professional photos. Like it's all like people just laughing and partying. Like if I saw this, I'd be like, whoa, this is like some serious. This is a serious event group. Like this is not. They're not joking around here. And it comes out that way. Like you can just see it. Like just simply, just by looking at your Instagram.
That's
Thank you.
Yeah.
that's
That was the
actually
goal.
that's probably George's baby there actually.
Yeah, killing it.
Yeah,
Thank
Looks
you.
great.
his attention to detail has been amazing. So, like I said, when we started, we didn't know what we were doing. We just kind of did whatever was needed, and we didn't know roles. But quickly we found out, as you can tell, George is always presents himself a little nicer than most. He's always hair's perfectly done and
Yeah.
his
Just
shirt
not
and his
today.
shoes match and stuff. So
He's very serious.
yeah.
He's a very serious guy.
I mean business.
Yeah, he's a businessman. Business for the business.
Yeah, so that he has the eye for it, and
That's good.
He's been able to take over that role. So
He can give you some tips.
Yeah. I was just giving I work out with this trainer, and while we were working out, he just started asking me all these questions. I didn't know how much I knew until he was asking me, and I was giving him all these answers. He's just like, yeah,
What's
just
that?
ask, just ask.
So like, okay, I'll jump on the Instagram. So what I do we have an interesting fan base. Like people joke around and like so our Instagram was like I had it for years. It was just kind of like a maybe not a meme Instagram, but it was like a facial hair club kind of thing. And it had a lot of followers who were like interested in the same things, and we joked around. And it was like different groups, and so like there's like but then I was transitioning, so we thought about starting a podcast. And actually, I was on a radio show, and I'm sitting there, and the guy he's a friend of mine, but he just wasn't talking. He
You wasn't
wasn't
engaged with
engaging.
it,
There was
yeah.
no engagement. There was no like excitement or entertainment. He's like, so, and now I'm going to play this song, beep, and I'm like, okay, can we talk? Can we have some fun? And so I'm like, Ernie, listen to it. I'm going to be on it, and I can't wait. So every time in between songs, I'm like, okay, let's talk about something interesting. The guy was like, and now we're gonna play this, and I was like, okay.
I'm texting him the whole time.
It's like, aren't you guys gonna like? I'm like, so after the fact, we're like, we could do this better. Like, we could do this easily.
Yeah.
We have good banter. We can be back and forth. We can keep things moving. It's entertaining. It's not difficult.
It's not dry.
So,
It's not dry.
so we just started the
Like
podcast.
my throat.
We had a couple friends that would come on. We talk, and then it's built up now where we have like not like a serious following, but like people listen to it. I get messages all the time. Hey, I really like this. Hey, I was listening to the podcast about the guy who was in jail because I work downtown in a community center and I wanted to learn a little bit more about their culture. Just simple things. So we're growing, like it's like a slow moving kind of train, and we're getting like you guys, you guys came on, like you want to talk about your business, and like we have business owners, and we had a lady who owns a tattoo business come on. So we're trying to like, I don't even know. It's just it's like almost
that's
like
the best part. That's
like
that's
it's
the
just
joy
it's
of
growing
starting
around.
something, right?
Yeah, it's growing around, and we're like, well, I don't know really where like, is we're keeping to our key values. If we're having fun with it, that's all that matters. I don't care if one person's listening to it and text me, hey man, I really like the podcast. I don't care. I'm talking to that one person. I'm not like, oh, we got like thousands of people. Like, we're keeping it simple. We're being real about it. We're not like we do the little bit of like spiel in the beginning because we appreciate what these two guys are doing, and I just really wanted to talk about them. Last week I talked about our friend who has a YouTube channel who games on his YouTube. And, like, we're just trying to envelop people in this. So it's interesting on the Instagram, the social media, as we're watching it get bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, we have like almost 5,000 followers, and it changes daily and back and forth. But like, how we're interacting with those people is not always like, it's not clear. Like, so, you know, the stories, I find we get more action off the stories than I do if I do a post. Like the post, people can just like swipe through, but the stories, people actually stop and watch it. Are you finding, is that something, that was a long way of explaining?
Yeah, no, I just told them that this week, something like that. Like, we average, just say like 100 likes on a picture, whatever. But every time we post a story, it's like 500 people. Right.
Or a video, people watch it like 700 times.
Yeah, I think it's just the attention span has changed. Right now, I'm actually like in prom season, and the attention span is like getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Like it's insane how fast kids want like the next song. They don't want to hear the second verse. They don't want to. Yeah, it's just like they want that 10 seconds of that verse or that hook to do that dance, get it on their Instagram, and the next song so they can do it again to that song.
What? So, like, at a prom, how long would you have a track play for then, like, the longest?
Like, there is still songs you play the full thing, right?
Yeah.
But, man, I don't know, it's switching really fast now. Like, like these trap songs, after the first hook.
What's trap?
It's just like...
no, straight up. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's just like the...
Mumble rap? You know mumble rap?
Yeah, I know mumble rap. Okay.
So it's those beats. It's like 808s, lots of hi-hats.
It was kind of like me
snares.
trying to explain us playing music in like when we were younger. Remember when I said bro and I said broke?
Nope. No, I still don't understand what you're talking about. What are you talking about, Ernie?
When I was mumbling earlier.
Classic Ernie and I banter. I have no idea what he's talking about. And he's just gonna
if you let Ernie talk and just put a beat behind it, like a hip hop beat.
Yeah.
Like right now with his voice.
Yeah, that's mumble rap.
Yeah,
that's
like throw out like an artist name, like who's like a top mumble rapper.
Well, it's not even mumble rap anymore, but...
Well, trap in general.
Yeah, trap in general. I say like Migos is up there.
Future.
Okay, yeah.
Future.
Yeah.
You wouldn't call Travis.
That's
Travis
that Panda
Scott,
guy, right?
You?
Future.
Well, his beats,
No,
he's still got a lot of trap in there. Yeah.
Who's that Panda? That Panda song? That's
Yeah.
like a
Designer.
That's a mumble.
Yeah.
All right.
Designer.
I know what's going on. All right.
Yeah. So that, right? Like, everybody likes the beginning of that song, and they like the Panda. The beat drops.
Yeah.
They sing that little part, and then they don't know the rest of the song.
Does
So
he
then
know?
they want the next
Does it
song.
sound like he knows?
No, it's just.
He probably
I'm
doesn't
like,
know.
how does he repeat that? Like, I listen to that song, I'm like,
Like,
how does he know to? Is that just like a sound he's making? Like, like it's like.
Actually, if you look on YouTube, there's a video explaining that song.
Oh boy.
It's the funniest thing you ever see.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, it's
I'll
like
check
breaking
that out.
it down.
Yeah.
Wow. I watched an interview with him, and he's talking to this lady from Japan. And I think he's in Japan at the time. He starts rapping, and she goes, "Oh yeah!" Like he's talking, but she's like, he's rapping. He's not talking to you, and she's like, "Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about." It's hilarious.
Yeah, they are saying something. It's just you gotta
It's a little bit
really
mumbled.
listen and slow it down.
Yeah. Is it more of? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say back to your point about the Instagram thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I find.
Yeah, I'm finding that.
You don't need that much time, and then...
I'm finding what I'll do is, like, for instance, so if I know you guys are coming on, I'll post one photo to kind of get people like, oh, that's kind of cool. And leading up to that week, I'll do a story, and then I'll maybe leave that story on for a day and then delete it. And then people forget about it, probably, and then I'll repost it with a couple cool other things on it saying, hey, it's tomorrow. Like, I'll say, wait, next Friday. And then I'll leave it on there for the day. And then the day of, I'll make sure I delete that one saying it's today. And then I'll add a new one on there saying, we're going to be on, I'm going to post this in, like, a couple hours. And, like, it's actually me talking. So they're like, okay, he's actually, like, engaging. So it's like a build-up. I don't know. That's just what I do.
What I find, like, what gets us the most traction, the most likes, is, like, a really, really, really trendy wedding photo. That, if we have any accomplishments, like if we've won awards or something like that, that always gets the most likes. Whenever we display that we're like helping something in the community, but it's like we tried having some memes and stuff like wedding related.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like cheesy. They were like well thought out, but just the interaction wasn't there. It was like people don't look at us for that.
Yep.
They just want to see our Instagram to see that we're still alive. That we're still relevant and we're still doing that caliber of wedding, I find.
Yeah. I think you only had 2, to be honest with you, because I snagged one of them for the advertising for the podcast there, the one that said iPods can't take requests.
Yeah.
I grabbed that one off your thing, but there wasn't a whole lot on there, though.
No, yeah, we tried it for a short bit, and then we were just like, you know what, this
not really
isn't
your thing.
No.
You keep it pretty classy.
Mm.
Like, what was I gonna say? So what we would do is oh geez, I had a thought and then it just totally just snapped out of my head. So when I'm posting something, for instance, if someone comes on the podcast like you guys, in a week or so, I'll be like, hey, this is what these guys are doing. They were on here a week ago. Look what they're doing. Like the Always Bearded guy, he was on the shopping channel. He had like this huge thing. He said he's gonna make 1,000 sales a minute or something. He was talking to us, and so I saw what his story. And I just took a story and then re-put it on, like, hey, look what Always Bearded did. See, remember we were talking about this? People go, oh, I'm going to go listen to that podcast because that's what they were talking about. Maybe they were interested in it. Who knows? But, like, we're not really shooting for the stars. So we're just pumping out content, and we're going to try and put out good quality content, good sound, good audio, good entertaining conversation. We're not just sitting here going, so what do you guys do? Like, there's, like, we're keeping it at a rate. We're just putting out quality stuff. And we're just always putting it out. We're putting it out every other week, and we're just going to see how far it goes. We're not.
With the story, what is the longest that a story can go for? Is there a time limit for them?
I think it's like
20 seconds. Isn't it 10
20?
seconds or something?
I think it's like 10, and then
you can hold it. I don't like it when it changes to the next one, and then changes to the next one. You can hold it for a long time, and it'll go around the circle, and then it'll jump to another story. I'm not a big fan of that. How it switches over. You can have like 4 stories about the same thing.
Because I don't do the stories. Like, I'll just take little quick video clips during the night, and then I'll post like a picture, and then it's part of the album, like a couple, and then I'll do that like once a week or something like that, because I know not everybody's going to want to see me post 8,000 pictures of what I did for the night, right?
Spread them
so
out.
I spread them out.
I told Ernie to, if he has an event,
I don't
take a bunch of photos, but don't post them all that night or the next day. Post them like a couple a week, and then like so you can keep that. It's different. Like, I don't know, just different media.
But I'll take a video of like the lights and like people dancing, so they get a picture of how like my setup looks with the lights going in the venue, kind of thing. But I didn't think of that the story, because I don't know, I'm not very technically inclined with that one for some reason. I don't know.
Do you guys do the light shows and stuff?
No.
Yeah,
no
so that was the other thing I was going to ask. So your basic setup. What do you include with your basic wedding package then?
So it's your speakers, your wireless microphone, your DJ obviously, and then your DJ light. So
what about the facade?
I've
I kind of want to
critique
Ernie's setup. Go.
Be gentle. I can't fight back.
We've done some cool weddings. I know one that stands out is at Berkeley Church, where they had a really cool setup where they provided a cool table for us. And it was awesome. It looked cool, and we used it, and everything was great. The main reason we don't use a facade or really anything that is over the top, sorry, Ernie,
hey man, he's doing his own thing.
You know, you have your own clients, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
that's right.
thing.
But
the people that
I know exactly why you don't, because you're not going to be able to set up 13 bloody facades in one day.
That and for us, it's also the decor, right? Like like we in Niagara, for example, Niagara on the Lake. There's days that the guys will DJ on like wine barrels, right? They'll do table, yeah. So I mean, how like
it's like a harvest table.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, on top of two wine barrels, right?
Yeah.
But that's not a wedding, though, is it?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Like outdoor tent weddings in the middle of a vineyard.
Right. So it's hard for us to match what the wedding is doing with our own style. So what we try to do is just keep it as simple as possible, and more of blending in than standing out that
I see what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when we first started too, we were doing a lot of like banquet halls, like more of those. Do you know what I mean when I say banquet halls?
Yes.
Yep.
So that's a lot of white and beige walls. Usually they have like those carpeted partition walls or like cream plastic. So when you have a lot of lights and it's almost to mask that stuff, right? A lot of the venues we do now have stone,
beautiful
wood beams, glass, all that stuff, right?
You want to take away from their venue.
Exactly.
Yeah, the backdrop's a golf course.
Yeah.
Right. So
I see what you're saying. So if you got like a light, like bat, you know, there's like, I wanted to see the
or
swans.
we've done events where somebody said, you know, I want everything to be purple. I want the whole room purple. Great, we'll put 100 purple lights in if you want. But then the photographer is upset with us.
Yeah.
Right, because they're like, can't you change it to white? Well, It's like, no, they want purple. So what happens is once
Grandma's
they start taking
purple.
all the
Yeah.
pictures, whoever's in the pictures turns out
Yep.
purple, whatever.
Right.
So
color
that's
it is.
why
Purple
sorry.
face.
So my over the top, I always don't turn it on.
He's very sensitive. He's super
Sorry, man.
sensitive.
Motherfuckers.
I love bugging
Motherfuckers.
Ernie because he's so passionate,
Right?
and there is
Yes.
nothing wrong with what your setup
I
looks
don't.
like.
No, I know,
This
man.
is
I
why
know.
I don't like working with him during an
'Cause,
event.
yeah.
I will help him set up, and I'll just keep my mouth shut. And if he's having a little fit, he's freaking out or talking to someone. Usually, I do the talking. I'll do the chatting with people,
Right.
like, "Hey, how's it going?" Or like the emails back and forth. I do the emails sometimes for him. Like I'm just very cordial, a little bit more formal.
Whoa.
Just saying,
more
just saying,
human.
just saying.
Hey.
I have it set up so like you don't have to do a whole
No,
lot
no,
of that.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
saying you don't do it, but
It's just my work schedule.
so I'll-
It's during the week.
So I'll do the setup and just stand back and get it all set up, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta go, because he's just like, well, I want this, and I want this, and then I'm like, just do it. Just like, he shows up like 4 hours early. He's there like
Yeah.
4 or 5 hours early, so he can work through all the kinks. He does the run through. He goes to the back. He's listening. Okay, turn that. I'm like, okay, we'll just get it set up, and then I'm out of there. I gotta get out of there because he's just so bloody picky about every.
which is
single-
a good thing, you know.
Yeah. Too much for me. I'm not that picky. So.
Yeah, I think for us was a mixture of the contracts that we got. You know, in town, we have Roseville Estate, which is a beautiful place, which, you know, it's got a beautiful background in itself.
Mhm.
Hacienda, like I said, Walper, all the Pearl venues. So a lot of these places have like that beautiful landscaping, right? And
Yeah.
that's just our clients now. Credit Valley in Mississauga. I mean, you're not going to go there and start putting all these lights up. And the other thing is space too, right? A lot of these venues that we work with are very intimate. When you start putting lights around a room and taping them down, and then I remember one thing sticks out in my mind. We were doing a wedding where they wanted all these lights, and then people just started putting their napkins over the lights. They just didn't want them because it was so close to their table, right? But there's nowhere else to put them.
Mm.
So people started just covering them. I said, oh, you know, you can don't cover them because that's what they want. They're like, oh,
They're
either
bothered.
shut it off or we're going to put the napkin back on.
Huh.
So I think as our business evolved and we got into these venues that we work with really close, they're not asking for us for that, right? So
Mhm.
Well, you think the venues you're using are beautiful, like the
Yeah.
backdrops and everything, and the everything's just so set in its way. It's just the aesthetics, it's just gorgeous. So you don't want to add, to it. Kind of
you want to blend in more
right?
than you want to stand out for that stuff.
And you guys
Absolutely.
don't run a sub, eh?
Depends on the room. A Whistle Bear, the forestry room.
Yeah.
You know, you're
Yep.
talking like 200 plus people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use a sub there. We use the 18, which sounds awesome.
It was the
That's
small
what I-
sub
but-
at Hacienda too.
Yeah, we use it at Hacienda. But the 15 ZLXs have a lot of bass, and we try to keep the noise, if you will, on the dance floor. That's the other thing. And I think when we first started, it was all about just blasting
The
this
whole
room with
room.
I was trying to get the whole room pumping, and you realize that, you know, like grandma doesn't want to be yelling or not being able to hear people in the conversation. So
keep
Yeah.
their chatter.
yeah, so we've set it up in a way now where, you know, you can be beside the dance floor and have a perfectly normal conversation. Another big thing is bartenders. I mean, if you're blaring the music at a bartender
Yeah.
and they're trying to take your drink orders and people are starting to yell at them,
stressing them out. They're
Stress
already
them
having
out.
a rough night.
yeah, so what we try to do is concentrate that sound on the dance floor.
Mhm.
Yeah, dinner and cocktails, obviously it's throughout, and the microphone, you can hear it everywhere. But the actual sound, the party, if you will, is on the dance floor, which goes back to the light. We found that a dance floor light, you know, actually you showed me at the mini Quinta, I think it's called, right?
Yeah, that's the
so
one I
so
got.
that's what we ended up getting.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
really?
yeah, we bought like
That's
5.
a nice one, eh?
It was
Because you just set it to
beautiful. Yeah.
sound,
Sound
and
and
off she
yeah,
goes.
and I have all the time. I have clients that want to see it, so they'll come to the office and I'll show it. You know, turn the lights off, put it on for them, and they're like, "Oh, this is perfect," you know, because nobody knows what to expect. And I think that's the other thing with weddings is that not a lot of people have hired a wedding DJ before. You know, they may have played music or hired a DJ here or there, but for a day so important, they don't even know what to expect.
Mhm.
So if I mean, I'm a good sales guy. Obviously, I've worked in sales all my life. I can easily say, "Oh, you need 10 lights, and we're going to put a truss system here, and we're going to do that," and most people would trust me, you know. But where we are and where, you know, the more we get to know our couples and the venues that we work with and the clients that they have, they don't need it, you know. So that's why we don't push it.
Do you have pictures of your setup? Because I looked
Yeah.
online.
It's
and
it's
I
on.
didn't
If you
see
look
them.
under weddings, On the weddings page, there's 3 pictures there.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
it's not really like we don't really post pictures like on Instagram or stuff like
So it's
that.
like 586.com. What is it? What's
Yeah,
your-
586eventgroup.com.
586.
And then you go under weddings, and then it'll show like your setup from afar, how like how that just I understand because every event's different.
There's a picture of a DJ standing in between the setup. It's just like the 2 speakers and the table.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just like your basic with a table kind of setup on
Yeah,
how
yeah,
it would
yeah.
look, and that's why I always do like I'll post that like in the night where if I can get in front of the table to show how it's gonna look like when it's
Right.
running and when it's off, and then when people ask what like do you have a light show, what does it look like?
Remember the one time you tried
have an
using
idea.
smoke? Remember tried the smoke?
Oh,
I
dear
told him, I said, you
fucking
can't predict the smoke, man.
Jesus.
Air conditioner's on. And Ernie's like, was truly trying to make this lady happy. She's like, I want the smoke to go across the floor. And so
It looks great in the
he
movies.
tested it
Yeah.
for a week.
No.
Yeah.
He
I
tried
had it.
different things. He added
I had
cold
it.
water. Ernie's like, I got this. And then at the event, they opened the door to the
Yeah.
kitchen where there was a vent-a-hood, and it went right
Yeah.
off. I'm like,
So
buddy.
and I think that's another big point on why we keep things simple, is because what might work in one venue might not work in the other, and so on and so on. The one that stands out to me is we did a corporate event for Pepsi at in Mississauga, and Pepsi's very strict with what they want and how they want it, and obviously a lot of corporate clients are, but they wanted some smoke, some geysers actually, like full out smoke. It was a guy's retirement, and then he was coming out in like a Pepsi, like
What?
like a lazy boy.
Now
on
was
wheels.
it dry ice or was it?
No, it was smoke. It was
Like the geyser
like the
one?
geysers, like
Oh,
they
okay, yeah, I know what
shoot
you're
up,
talking about,
right?
yeah.
There's usually like a light in the middle.
Yeah, and it-
Right, so
Yeah, yeah.
we confirmed with the it was a hotel, but like a conference center. We confirmed with them that we could use it. They wanted it, whatnot. We did it. So 10 minutes before, one of the manager comes up and said, "There's no way you can play that. You can put
Fire
that on
alarms, right?
because
heat
the
sensor, heat sensor, right?
So they actually had to go into their system and shut
Shut it
off
off?
their
Oh
alarm.
my god!
Yeah, for the time that we were there, because
That's hilarious.
Pepsi wanted it, and we got to do it, and we can't risk setting off fire alarms.
And
in
the fire department shows up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you have people upstairs in a hotel.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
And then the whole
Right.
place evacuates.
So to add that kind of
Shit.
stress
Oh my
on
God.
a wedding day, where what you might talk to somebody and say, yeah, no problem, and then you get closer to the date, and then
10
it's a
minutes
different
before.
manager or whoever's in charge, and they're like,
Wow.
you're not turning that on.
Mhm.
And so,
That was nice that they worked with you. Can we just turn this off?
well, it was more of the client was.
It is
Paying a
Pepsi.
lot
It
of
is-
money.
It is
Yeah.
Pepsi.
Like we
you know?
booked out the
Yeah,
whole,
yeah, yeah.
Big
we
deal.
booked the whole
Yeah.
floor, and,
Yeah.
and we have like multiple setups, and this is gonna happen. So it was pretty
Jeez.
cool. I mean, it was an awesome show, but the wrong venue might say no,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and or they're not gonna take that risk, and
Mhm.
that's it. And now these people have paid a lot of money to put this there, and you've said it, and like you said, you've tested it, you've tried it. It's not just turning it on the day of. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember
had
the
it
first time we used
figured out.
geysers. Yeah, we took them to our house, and we must have
Yeah.
been playing them for like 4 hours on our street, and
Yeah.
cars were going by, and like, what's going on here, right? But you have to be anal on a lot of those stuffs, because you can't just leave it to the day of and hope that it
Yeah.
works because it says it works. Right?
Yeah, that was a real big learning experience. It's just sometimes there's things that
You gotta say no.
no,
You're
it's just
saying
it
yes
just
too
doesn't make
much.
sense because
Yeah,
they can't control
That's
it.
so hard.
And people will thank
in the
you in
beginning,
the end.
learning
Yeah.
how to say no.
Yeah.
Because you want the money, you want the business, you want the money.
You want to make
And
them
you-
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want
It's
to
like a customer service kind of thing you're running.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
But
like,
if you can't do it, or you don't have experience, like you just say no, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of people thank you in the end because, or they go somewhere else, and then maybe there's great there's great companies out there that do that stuff, and they're good at what they do. When somebody says, this is why I have to have this or I have to do this, and we don't do it, at this point we're lucky enough that we can say, okay, well,
this is what we do.
yeah, this is what we do, this is what we're good at, and what I pay my guys to be there for. I can't just start throwing stuff on top.
But you can recommend them to go to this company that runs it though, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
that's
yeah.
where
and
I'm
we're
coming
very
from
easy
now.
going with other companies
Yeah.
too, right? So if they hire a pyro, we do fireworks all the time where they'll have fireworks and we play the music for it.
Yeah.
So hire the fireworks company. I mean, we're not going to do it ourselves. We're not going to go out there and get a license to
yeah, you're not
going to
be
cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
But we can't. So they'll hire somebody, and then we'll be as easy going as we can with them. And
yeah, somebody saw that I was doing it at the wedding, and they're like, "Oh, you do that?"
Yeah.
I'm
No,
like,
no,
I really don't.
No.
Yeah.
I really don't, because it was just so much of a headache, and it looked so good. And then I got into the venue. I'm like, oh, look at that floor. That's gonna look amazing.
Nope.
And they opened up the kitchen door, and it went right into the kitchen. I'm like, well, if you get some really good pictures in
From
the
back
kitchen,
this angle.
But
Yeah.
then it ended up the lady was just like, you know what, just happy that it was kind of there in a way though.
she didn't even see it. She was paying too much attention to her
She was in
husband.
the moment.
Well,
She was in a moment.
The other thing too is, especially with music, I've talked to brides right after their ceremony and said, you know, how was that? You know, because this is what I want. It's got to be at this time to this time, and I played. And you'd be surprised how many times I didn't even hear the music.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Or I didn't even think about
Didn't even notice it. They're too caught up.
I had my first mashup for First Dance last night,
Nice.
and it worked out pretty good. They wanted "Marry Me," Train, and then Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
And they wanted to like spin it out and then kick it into Backstreet Boys, and it worked out. But even after, like you say, they were just like, yeah, it sounded fine, I think.
They're not even listening.
Yeah.
I was like, I fucking worked really hard on that.
They're worried about it in the moment when they're talking to you about it, but in the moment they're like, oh,
Because they were like at 2 minutes, no longer. I was like, okay,
Yeah, we've
chill.
had clients that are professional ballroom dancers, and you know,
Jeez.
try screwing that up,
I was gonna say,
oh boy.
right?
We
And-
have,
and
like,
I
theater.
remember the one that we had. It was like, you wait till I get to the very front, take 3 steps, and I'm gonna say Maestro Musica. I was like, holy smokes, this is gonna be
Then-
rough. But yeah,
Yeah.
but it worked great. I mean, and I'd rather concentrate on things like that we can do. So,
Mhm.
you know, music, timing, cutting, looping, you know, all that stuff we can do, right? And that's
Music.
what we're good at. We're good at music and we're good at sound. So it becomes less crazy when they're asking you stuff that you can do.
We always get told that we should get into photo booths.
Yeah.
And in the beginning,
Oh,
everybody
Have you
was
ever-
like,
what did you think of that?
Zero-
I've seen them
like, we
online.
never
we shut
done
it
it,
down.
and
We
we-
shut it
It
down
just-
from day one.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
it just looks like a lot of maintenance. And
Well, to me, it's a photographer thing, right? To me, that's something a photographer should have. If a camera goes down, like, I don't know what to do.
yeah, I'm not gonna stop spinning just to go fix your camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Or you know,
Huh.
it's just not us. That's not what we're good at. So
Like you're saying before, your business model, like you can add things on, but for you, it's just like keeping it simple, keeping it what you know, and then you can problem solve within it easily.
yeah,
That's what
exactly.
you do.
Yeah,
So this is your guys' full-time jobs.
yeah,
Yep.
100%.
And you have full-time employees as well.
Yeah, we have 2, and on Tuesday actually of this week we're confirming our 3rd. So
Full-time
the 3 Yeah, so the
employees,
3
huh?
of us are full time, and
Yeah.
then we have two guys that are on salary and working for us full time, and then
Wow.
we've offered it to our third guy.
Oh wow,
Wow.
Yeah.
wow,
You
man.
love your job then.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
must
yeah.
love your job.
Now we do.
Yeah, and
You know, it's fun now.
I put producing down for a long time too, just so because we were building this, and then now that you know it's got the wheels, now I get to do more of that again, which is
Yeah, I've been
cool.
seeing you in a booth that was that one real fancy one with a whole bunch of extravagant lights in it.
Oh, which one was that?
It was
He's pretty
it
sensitive
was just
about
recent.
stuff.
It was
He
recent.
won't forget that. Just
From now on,
With the-
I'm gonna just.
It was a
tag
party with a big
Ernie.
facade. Or is that what you're saying? There?
Oh.
Beautiful. Where
I'm
was
just
this?
gonna- I'm just gonna tag
No.
Ernie in all of the studios
Yeah,
that I
no,
go
it was
to
it
with
was
lights.
it was a really nice studio. It was the one they just posted recently. I can't
Oh,
remember
okay,
what it
yeah,
was.
yeah. Scarborough.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's in
it
the
was,
guy's
it looked really
house.
nice. Oh,
But-
was it?
Yeah.
Let's give Ernie a little bit of credit though. Like if you guys look at what Ernie does, he does everything by himself. Does everything. He needs a little bit of muscle, but like he runs the show. He actually will organize the event with the he does above and beyond, and then charges them like pennies. Like.
Which
Well, we started.
What do you
Yeah, I
guys
was gonna
think
say
of-
we're the exact same thing. You know,
Yeah.
7 years ago.
But as like
We
a
did
professional
the exact
business,
same
you
thing.
see a guy like him doing that. What do you think? Like,
Well, I've had this conversation with him.
Yeah.
I think he's doing amazing. I've told him, like, I hope we work together in the future. I mean, he's got his own thing, and you know, we have our own ways and stuff like that. But it's not easy when you start. You don't know
No.
what you're doing. You know, you love music and you love customer service, but you don't know where it's going to go. You
And
know,
that's exactly what got me into it. So I was going to talk to you about this. So I was to school for Mohawk. I was going to teach high school music, and the 2 schools that I wanted to teach at dropped the music program.
Oh. Wow.
And I was about 3/4 into Mohawk, and I'm like, you know what? I could save some money. go find another trade or something to do.
Weren't
but
you gonna
I
work
can
on a
still
boat
play it
or
on the side.
something too?
Yeah, so I was actually gonna go play for Disney. I was gonna go do their cruise line, and I had my daughter, and I was like, you know what? It's something I'm gonna keep the trombone. I can always play. I can pick it up right now, and I haven't played it in probably 2 years, other than when I was supposed to go do a photo shoot and that fell
Waterloo
through.
Symphony.
But
Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
but
It was a great photo shoot.
yeah, I know.
regardless,
Yeah.
with no
Minus the
one.
trombone player. Listen,
There's
We
a gig
promised them a
too.
nice trombone player with a nice beard. I'm not even gonna lie. We
Why
got the guy.
hell
Was,
didn't you do it?
There was a gig too.
there was a
didn't know about the
roaring
gig.
Yeah.
20s or 30s.
we talked
gig.
about the music thing. I didn't. Yeah, and you said the roaring thing they were supposed to be playing
Why didn't you do it?
because we didn't organize it. It turned.
I'll tell you what happened.
Everybody else showed up.
George and Ernie were like, usually I do the bookings, and when it was George and Ernie handling things, I think that's
I-
they just
That's
got, they
true.
probably
Let's
just
be
started
honest.
talking
That's true.
about
because
something
I
else.
would have died to have done that.
So
But
it
it
was
was like
awesome.
it
So
was
much
it
fun.
was I didn't hear from you guys for like 3 months.
from George.
Okay, but let's be. It was that
Yeah.
right? Like
Next time,
I
guys.
didn't leave you
Next
high and
time,
dry.
Sam.
No. We you know what we always.
You know what's funny though? From that gig, we met a sax player who ended up
Yeah, he's.
learning how to DJ and became our first full timer
Wow.
Oh, seriously?
from that gig.
And that's what I'm saying. Things always work out, you know. The
Never
show, like they
DJ'd
say, the show
before.
must go on,
Oh, wow.
right?
Yeah.
And if we don't have a trombone player, well, we'll find one, right?
Don't ask
So-
me to play trumpet. I'm not that good. So
You're saying I heard jazz trumpet,
yeah, I play jazz trumpet.
so you got to be good.
I'm okay.
He's pretty good, man.
Yeah, you don't throw.
He knows
around-
how to read music.
Yeah, but nobody says I play jazz trumpet and you're not good. Like
It's hard, right? At the beginning.
jazz in general, any instrument.
Yeah. It's probably the hardest thing I ever did. It's like so
I don't like
for the
it.
first year.
Professional jazz hands.
That's my thing.
Is that
So-
jazz
Yeah,
hands?
jazz, my
Is
jazz
that what that
hands.
was?
Yeah.
It was
That was impressive.
So
Thank
I
you.
had he's a really hardcore teacher. So he said, "Do you want to just play trumpet or do you want to play jazz?" I said, "I'm playing jazz." He's like, "Okay, you know for the next year you're just playing scales, right?
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. You're gonna
Yeah.
play scales, variation scales, chromatic, anything. You got to play them all, and you can play them all in 2 minutes for me in a cycle of fifths." It's like, oh, he's like, "You're gonna have to do it, or you're not playing jazz." So I did it for a year, just like playing scales. He'd go. He'd sit back and I'd be like, just like run through them. He goes, do it again. So scales. And he says, now we're going to do ear training. So he'd give me a CD. He'd say, I want you to be able to play these couple songs by ear. I mean, you're not getting the music for it. You're just going to play it. So remember me just sitting there
Yep, Chet
playing
Baker.
Chet Baker,
Chet Baker,
but
yeah.
not for me. Like, just like, and then you wanted me to sing to it too. So
Wow.
it was hard. And then unfortunately, I was kind of like, I like music. Like I'm like you guys. I love music, so I love music. So Ernie was in Cadet at the time, and I went to it's a big show called. Ernie was actually playing in a Tattoo. Do you know what Tattoo is? So Tattoo is a giant marching band, pipes and
It's in
drums,
Hamilton.
military
Okay.
Tattoo. Ernie was playing. They had him in the front row playing trombone. So I'm watching his concert, and I'm like, bagpipes are sweet. I want to play bagpipes. But the problem though, it wrecks your embouchure. So you have to be able to put the pipe in your mouth, and trumpet's completely like your embouchure is like your so it affects your quality.
Right.
So I was affecting my quality of trumpet playing by playing the bagpipes, and my trumpet teacher's like, "What's going on with your mouth?" He's like, "You're screwing around." I'm like, I didn't tell him for a while. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just having a hard
Secret
time.
bagpipe
Yeah.
player.
So he says to me, "You either stop playing the bagpipes and continue with me if you want to do this seriously, or I'm not teaching you anymore."
It's one of the
He was an
other.
asshole. Like I'm not
Yeah.
saying his name. The guy is like a hardcore. He's a very, very good trumpet player.
Yeah.
So I am like, I want to do bagpipes now. I just want to do it because I like it. I want to I'm passionate about it. I don't want to sit and practice jazz anymore. I want to play bagpipes. So I just transitioned out of it, and it was a very unfortunate thing. Like, cool guy though, but like that was just like my transition out of that, and then played bagpipes for 5 years, and then went to university, and then played guitar in a folk band for a while, singing folk at like coffee clubs and stuff, and singing songs and like. Where was I going with this?
He's a good trumpet player. That's
yeah.
where we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's alright. It's okay. I haven't picked up a horn for a while. I still have my mouthpiece, but I still have my trumpet. But
But yeah, no.
Yeah,
So I
probably
was.
still
Are you done going off about you for a minute?
yeah, I'm done.
Okay,
We were explaining.
so-
He was actually
Yeah, I
asking,
don't know how you
I'm
play
saying
trumpet, and
why
then
I
you
don't
messed up
play-
your mouth.
Why
and
I
then,
don't ask me to
now
play
you're
trumpet.
blowing pipe. And,
Why you don't ask
Are
me?
you guys brothers?
Who would win in a
Yeah.
fight?
What's that?
Who wins in a fight?
win.
He would,
Every
because
time?
I throw dirt and I. Yeah.
No, I got a good ground
I'd
game.
like grab his. Oh yeah, he's got a good ground
got
game.
good
He'd
jiu-jitsu
beat
too.
the snot out of
Yeah.
me.
I got a good
Yeah,
ground
I
game.
let him though, right? Because I'm building up his confidence.
So
You're helping him.
it was funny as I was entering in grade 9 going to Preston. Ernie and his friend were like, listen, when you go to grade 9, they're gonna beat the shit out of you. They're gonna pick on you.
I remember they always said that there'd be initiations.
Yeah.
I remember back. Like,
So the
you can't do that anymore.
the whole summer.
Well, they did when I went.
You can't do that now.
So
Now
the
you
whole,
can't.
so
With
the
cell
whole
phones?
summer before
Yeah.
school,
The whole walk home.
they would attack me.
Those are the good days.
They would
Good old
sneak,
days.
they would
I
sneak,
learned to run.
Ernie, shut up. They would sneak attack me and beat me up. They're like, we gotta toughen you up.
Get you
So,
ready.
so I'd be
Yeah.
like playing video games. They'd come up behind me, choke me, and like punching me in the head. And so like, all the high school, like the summer before high school.
The
They're like,
fuck does it have to do with DJing? I want to know.
I don't know. It's a cool story.
I think
So
it's-
I entered grade 9. I never got nothing happened anyway.
See, I toughened him up.
You beat him up more
But
than
I did it
anybody
too
else.
well because now he can beat the snot out of me.
Yeah.
I even hit him with my car one time,
You hit him with your car?
just in case somebody else hit him with a car.
Yeah, he hit me with his car.
Just to be safe.
Oh.
But anyway,
Was Ernie also your trumpet teacher?
No.
Oh.
No.
He sounds like the same guy.
Yeah, it could have been the same guy.
but yeah, no, I went to Milwaukee and I was gonna go to play on the Disney ship, and then
Yeah.
that was kind of, and I came back here and I was just kind of playing in a little local bands and that, and I've been trying to get into doing other things with the trombone just because I'm like, I really enjoy doing music, but I couldn't do it. And then we were hanging out with these guys at Shady Wood in Kitchener, and we became friends with them. And one of them, Joel Cash, actually, he's one of the guys that's doing Ride for Dad. He was like, hey, man, have you ever thought about DJing? And I did it a couple times just for a bride and groom, because I like a lot of different kinds of music. You learn, too, as you play music. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll DJ for you. I did it for a case of beer once, and one of them was like, they're like, you're pretty good at this. Do you do this? I'm like, no. So Joel was like, do you want to come try an event with me one time? Now, he was a club DJ for about 20 years and in Toronto. And so he was a hardened guy. He's the guy that's just like, oh, you want that song? Yeah, I'll play that song. Never.
Yeah.
So he's just like, you should come out and try it
It's
with
on the
me.
radio. I'm not playing.
Yeah.
it.
He's actually
Yeah,
a cool
but to
guy
cla-
to have in the booth with you.
To
and
clarify,
gets
some
messy.
couples love that.
Yes.
Like we've had people ask for that, and we just can't do it. We'll send them somewhere else.
Yeah.
But there are people that are like, can you play like no request and just do what we say exactly? Like,
Yeah.
it's a different kind of client.
But and then I learned a lot from him too,
Yeah,
like not
for
to
sure.
being able to say yes to everybody,
Mhm.
right? Because when I first started, I was just like, "Can you play this song?" And I'm like, "Well, I want to make them happy, or else they're gonna go complain to
You
the bride."
change genres and beats per minute.
Right? Like
kind of
obviously you
thing.
go from like country to I don't know,
House.
Latino or something like that. It's like, well, that doesn't go, but that's what they wanted, so that's what I
Yeah.
did, because they said it nicely. But then I got into that, and I'm like, you know what? Like this is not playing, but at least it's something. So I'm getting to use music that some of the skills I still have, right?
Yeah.
And then and then later on, if I want to do the cruise ships when the girls get older, maybe I'll jump into
I just
that,
find this
but-
interesting. Like you guys have this whole thing set up. Like you do all the angles. You got so when a bride and groom come to your shop or your office, they just hang out with you three.
No, myself.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
That's how
you're
they-
you're the guy mainly for the clients then?
Yeah. So most of our incoming inquiries are through email. So we'll reply to the email, and then if they want to set up a phone call or a meeting, then it's me that goes to it.
So you're you do all the consult and everything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And I make my cell phone available for them from here until their wedding. So I'll have brides text me 11 o'clock at night, like, hey, I can't figure this out. Do you have any suggestions for this? If I'm up, I text back.
So I'm just saying. So that question I asked you at the beginning about like what separates you. You've kind of like all talked about it in a certain way. Like this whole situation, the whole full conversation is what separates you. You're the business end, and then you do all the DJ stuff. You train all the DJs. You work with all the companies, Mac. You work with all the software.
Yep.
You have you have your hands in all the pockets, and you're working all the avenues. So you can problem solve. You do all the teaching. It's just this is what separates you guys.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man! That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like,
and
it's exciting.
And
Yeah,
it's
pretty
amazing
rad.
where it'll take you, right? Like you said, the Disney cruise stuff. Like we've had a lot of really cool. Like we're going to Banff in
November.
Like a company's just taking us there for a corporate 3-day party, and
Whoa.
our job is to make sure that they party
Actually,
for 3 days.
That is rad.
Yeah.
I
We
just got to fly with
when-
my laptop and controller.
You
Yeah.
did a destination wedding too, didn't you?
That was mine.
That was his wedding.
Was that yours?
Yeah, that's 2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, wait, you just got married, man? Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Sweet.
I didn't know whose that was. I was just like, because I kept seeing pictures of you, and I never saw one picture of you, and I was like,
How the heck did you arrange all that stuff for a destination wedding?
Oh man,
Like
2
that was
years.
fun.
you need
It was-
another
it was like a-
podcast for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a 2-year.
It was very
planning.
cool.
Where was it, sorry?
Sorry.
And we had 5 weddings going on here.
Yeah, we had 5 weddings while we were gone.
Where was it, sorry?
So it was in Mexico. We got legally married here 2 days before we went at Cambridge Mill. Mm-hmm. Very, very intimate. It was just Victoria, myself, and our two witnesses and the photographer.
Were you witness?
No. He was. So even him, we wanted them to, our whole family to experience the wedding in Mexico.
Yeah.
To be the actual wedding. So he was my, signing for the Mexico one. But we got legally married here. And then 2 days later, we flew out with 30 people. We took everything. So the only thing that really the venue provided was the food in the hall. Mm-hmm. So we brought our own officiant, our own photographer, videographer, DJ, speakers, some decor.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
The officiant.
Yeah.
Do they make quite a bit to do a wedding?
Here we
do you
go.
think?
They have an. You know what? I actually
You'd be a great officiant.
I went to school to be a
Thank
pastor.
you.
There you go.
Thank you.
You can, so
I'm not one.
So for the one that was in Mexico, it was just a buddy. He's not even an officiant.
But you were married already. So
we
he
were
just
already
did the
married. Yeah, so we
ceremony.
got married by Justice of the
Symbolic.
Peace.
Yeah.
One of Victoria's clients is Justice of the Peace, so she got us married.
Yeah.
Legally. But from talking to a lot of officiants, they have it pretty good. A lot of them will do 3 to 5 in a day, if they can schedule it properly. They will go and start at like 10 a.m. somewhere, and then like 11:30 somewhere else, and a 2 o'clock, and then like a 6 o'clock, and I think they charge about $300, $400 each.
That's what I heard.
Sometimes $700 to $1,000.
It's just
depending.
really expensive to get that license. It's like $3,000
But if you
a year.
know someone
That's
that
10
has
weddings.
13 weddings
I know.
a day,
Yeah, but
It's really expensive to be a doctor.
it is
Yeah,
really
it's
expensive to be a
it's
doctor.
expensive to start a DJ company, but if you do it right, eventually
Yeah.
it's going to
I,
pay off, right?
Mhm.
I just didn't get my. I didn't get ordained. I didn't
Get it. It's never too late.
No, I don't want to.
I keep telling them we could be the full
a sweet
service
j-
package.
like and same thing. They a lot of them go to the dinner and eat awesome food.
So here's his issue. Sorry, I had a tremor. So his issue is I just punched the table. I don't know why. His issue is he doesn't want to do it because he's worried about
So
ethics.
well,
right?
Like there's a little bit involved. So I'm not the type of person that
He
You're
doesn't
not gonna
wanna
be
just
swearing.
marry
It's
anybody.
not like you're gonna be swearing up there.
He doesn't
No,
want
no,
to just
no,
marry
no, no,
anybody.
no.
Or ethics.
Swearing.
Oh, ethics as in okay, gotcha. At that.
But I said if they get divorced, you get to do another one. So
Yeah, I don't know. He threw like the one afternoon Ernie was doing a wedding and they're like, oh, the officiant is not going to show up tomorrow. Can you come and do it? I'm like, oh, I don't even know the couple. There's no history there. I've never had a conversation with them. I don't want them just to give me money to stand there and
I
talk.
found him a ceremony. Went online.
But
printed
I
it
get
out.
I get what you're saying. This is
Yeah.
why I took I asked one of my good buddies to do it, because I didn't want to be up front with
So
some guy I don't
nobody-
know.
Yeah,
Right. Especially in Mexico, like
there's a heart involved.
Yeah,
it's.
he knows
especially
us
if
as a
you're
couple,
religious,
and he gives us.
especially
He's married himself. That was the other thing. I wanted somebody that was married.
right.
And-
Knows the ropes.
Yeah, and he actually gave me amazing advice. He gave me advice on my speech, on how to write my speech, and make sure that I'm hitting certain points. So,
But he's done pastoral things like
yeah.
he's
So
talked
once
in
you
front
get
of
to know,
congregations
I mean,
before.
you can choose your couples.
He's
and
done church.
I did church. Yeah, no, he did.
And he talked in front of a whole bunch of people.
There's just a lot more involved than just getting paid. That's just it's not as simple. That's all.
Well,
Do
same.
you guys have that kind of thing on your roster? Do you have officiants? Like
No,
No.
we've actually
We use
consciously
Yep.
not. I can't say we don't recommend people, because we do if people ask us. But like on our website, you'll never see. Here's the list of the top officiants that we use. Here's the top
Yeah.
photographers that we use, because not everybody's for everybody, and that's I think that's what I'm trying to get to you is that just because somebody's getting married and they're throwing money at you doesn't mean you have to take it.
Yeah.
You know, so we've turned down many weddings where we just it's not us.
Sounds too
just getting
complicated.
picky, or
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their expectations are higher than what we do. Like,
It's like, how can you guarantee everybody's gonna lose their mind? It's like,
Oh, what?
it's like,
Yeah, like how-
cocaine.
Yeah, shoot cookie out of that thing.
Cocaine out the cannon.
Yeah.
no, I had once somebody that said, "Do you guys do projectors and screens?" And I said, "Sure. Like, we know how to use it, so why not?" The groom ended up giving me. He was supposed to give me a video the day before the wedding.
Oh no.
He sent me like 100 pictures in no order. Now, I could
Oh,
have just
boy.
been whatever and just put the pictures up the way he gave them to me, and it would have gone from
Yeah.
him old to baby to
Yeah, yeah,
whatever, right? I stayed up all night and I edited this video for this couple, and I put music to it, and I put feeling into it, and I'll never forget. I the morning when I woke up, I'm like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
I was way too stressed. I'm not a video guy, but at the same time, I couldn't. You
want your quality.
To him, it would have been like, well,
brand.
we hired him, and he put the guy gave me a file of pictures.
Oh, good God.
Right? It wasn't even a video. So what I'm getting at is if I know or I'm speaking to somebody and reminds me of that couple,
Like,
I'll say no, thank you. It's
sounds like you guys do a lot of weddings, so it's okay to say.
well,
no.
and that's the thing, right? And when you get to this point and you turn down one, and it always sucks. I mean, as a business owner, you're like, holy smoke, that's another wedding that we didn't do. But then there's like 3 just magical clients that come up and they're like, hey, we've been to one of your weddings. The guy was awesome. We talked to the DJ for like 20 minutes. Can you guys just come? We just want a bit of everything and just don't play these 2 songs. And you're just like, oh,
okay.
Yeah, and
That's
those people do
optimal.
exist.
Yeah.
Right? So
that always feels good though when they come in and they say that, like, we weren't at the wedding, but we had somebody that was there and came and talked to you, and they said you were pretty cool. Are you able to do this and this for us, right? And it's just kind of like, fuck, that feels good.
yeah.
Because it's just like they didn't even have to hear what you did, right? Like it was like they just word of mouth and believe what these other people said because the
they
cool
trust them,
persona
right?
you took off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, has there
man.
been like anything just off the wall that happened at a wedding like that? Other than, okay, so I had one.
Yes.
I had
We're at
one
the-
where I got a
we're-
little handsy, but that's the worst so far.
Yeah, the what? Sorry.
I had one girl. She got a little handsy in the booth, and I mean like a lot handsy. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just kind of like, okay, let's tone this down a little bit. Let's
That's a
keep it a little
that's a
PG.
complaint from you? That's like a
It is
that's like a bad
it is
thing for you?
it is a complaint. Yes, it is very much so a complaint.
Most DJs
Greasy.
would enjoy that.
Well, young
just
guy,
for the record.
doesn't have
Okay.
a young family, creasy people.
Yeah, no, I did not like it at all. It was violated. I got me too'd. I did not enjoy it.
Me too.
Gross, man. Where do we what's going on here?
I was
What was the question? The question is
Radical guests or
Yeah, like a crazy situation. You guys are like,
or
whoa.
on the day of.
what about I wasn't there, but the one with the guy on the shoulders.
Oh, that was when Mike was there, actually. You remember that? It was in like Burlington, Oakville. Super religious family, very, very conservative and quiet and stuff. And then I guess the one son had just turned 19, and he got into it with like her side of the family, like drinking.
Oh.
And her family wasn't even dancing or anything. They were just sitting. All of a sudden, the son, he's coming in the room on someone's shoulders, and they're both hammered.
Loaded.
And they fall.
No.
He falls face first in front of his mom.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the guy on the
And
shoulders.
wasn't this like 10 o'clock or something?
Yeah,
like it wasn't
super
even,
early.
Was he like?
Like,
did he
we're
get-
hired
was
till
he,
1
like,
a.m.,
Did he,
right?
like dust his teeth out or something, or like?
I don't know exactly what happened to his face. I just remember he got like sent home right after that.
Sent home.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
He's a. Oh wow.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
we had a
Did you play Another One Bites the Dust?
Oh.
I don't know what I played after. I think that I just toned it down after
Thriller?
that. I think I put a slow song after because they were raging. They were raging, man. Yeah.
That's interesting. So like, you have certain families that are like, can you not play music that swears? Obviously. That's
Oh, yeah, all the
like
time,
that.
all the time.
Yeah.
No
all,
swearing.
all of our music is clean.
Yeah.
We buy
Is
it?
it?
Yeah.
Good for
well,
you.
yeah, unless they want like sometimes they want the dirty.
Yeah, but I
stuff,
mean,
but that's
for
usually
the
after
most
11
part-
or 12.
Good for you
anyways.
guys.
Yeah.
I've just started thinking that, and I'm like, man, I got a lot.
Well, we do a lot of
I
we
gotta
do we in the beginning we did a lot of sporting events.
Oh, I guess
Football,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
Cambridge Lions and stuff like that, and then we do a lot of proms.
Mhm.
So it was
Just
just
keep it
always
clean.
just keep it clean.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I realized that last night. I had a lot of dirty music. I was like, oh, can't play
It's
Baby
good to
Shark.
realize while you're at the gig.
Yeah, it's like I should play Baby Shark right now just to make up for that.
I watched the video.
That song had about 6 fucks in it.
Everybody seemed a little bit stiff on the dance floor. I was watching the video. Not just like,
That was an interesting wedding last night. We're gonna call it interesting. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. The bride and groom, I
that was
think,
your
had a
first
lot
time
of
at
fun.
that venue too, right?
It was my first time at that venue. It was a lot of fun.
cool.
We
I'll move on.
As long as
once
you had fun.
and this is
So much.
this is why we don't do private house parties anymore.
Oh my god.
I know
we had
exactly what
a
you're
we had a
saying.
cool one where try to keep it as
PG?
So funny because you never
not so
know.
much PG. Yeah, not so much PG, but as much
You just
as
never
like,
know. who-
Just don't use names. Don't
yeah,
use
I'm not
street
gonna use names or
Or-
definitely not street names. But this was a nice house in Waterloo, and it was a 40th birthday, and the groom, not the groom, the husband, and her brother didn't get along, and they're smashed, and this is at the end of the night, and George is outside loading the car. I'm inside doing stuff like wrapping cables and stuff, and the guys start going at it.
What time is this?
Like probably like 2 a.m. Like it's at
Yeah,
the,
this is
like
done. Like,
late.
the
Oh
party's
yeah,
done.
that's
late,
scrap
right?
time. Definitely.
Scrap time. But I mean, the one guy got thrown over the porch.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at George.
He was
He's
trying to-
outside.
Did you get all the equipment out first?
Well,
though?
he had half of the stuff outside, and I had the rest of the inside, and they're fighting literally in between us.
Like he was trying
Oh.
to throw, so he had him by the throat, and he was trying to throw him off the porch, which I would say it was like, how many stairs? Like it wasn't a small porch.
Enough to hurt him.
Like 2 floors.
Maybe like 1.5. Like it
Yeah.
was like maybe like
Still.
8 steps
Yeah.
or something.
Like you
Because-
could break.
What were
you'll-
they yelling? What were they just yelling back and forth? I hate you. How dare
No,
you?
No,
it was
they-
a personal.
It was personal. They were joking around about how much money they had.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Both
Wow.
successful people in their own
Yeah.
way, but
Yeah.
one didn't seem
But-
to think the other one was as
Yeah.
successful.
The one was like the house we were at was clearly successful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big house, and then
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
guy just
I thought it
wasn't
would have
there,
been like
and then
something
he-
silly like DJ lights or
Alpha
something.
males, right?
yeah,
Alpha males.
Yeah,
And then
no.
he
Yeah.
just basically called him like a little boy, and that he'll never provide for his family like he does. And just
That was the last time we
Yeah.
did house private parties.
Never.
Never.
Yeah.
I'm
You guys
afraid
have to break
because
it
I've
up?
seen some of our
no,
house
well, the
parties.
good guy in him was kind of like, I'm like, dude, let's get
I went to
outta
go. I
here."
went to go separate them.
We're gonna get
Like I was
punched.
like, these. Come on, guys. And George looks at me. and He's like, that's none of our business.
Yeah, I'm
No,
like,
no,
tomorrow
no,
they're
you're
gonna-
gonna get yourself.
What if
hurt.
they
Yeah.
start-
They're gonna,
drunk, too.
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna eat bacon together the next morning,
Yeah.
and we're gonna go home with black eyes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, or your
no,
stuff
no.
trashed.
Yeah.
As long as your equipment's clean,
And that's what
no
it was.
blood, and still in one piece,
yeah,
and get out of there.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, we've seen some fun stuff.
Oh man.
I couldn't do a house party. I don't think just because I've seen some of the ones we've had.
Uh,
I don't know if we can. Just don't say names too.
yeah, no, I did one where.
You
Yeah,
say a
it's-
bridal party,
Yeah. So what happened was.
so that's like a stag,
No,
it was a
no,
wedding.
no. It was at a wedding.
Oh,
Oh.
At a wedding. Yeah. So the groom has brothers. One of the brothers' girls is on the dance floor dancing with everybody in the family. Her boyfriend's not there, which is the groom's brother. And then all of a sudden, the groom's mom comes up to me. She's like, "Shut it down." And it was like midnight.
What?
And I was like,
Everybody's,
okay.
So everybody's dancing.
Everyone's dancing. Everyone's having a great time, right? And then she's just like, "Shut it down." And it was midnight. I still had an hour to go. And I'm like, okay, right? Like, I'm not going to ask questions, so I just faded out. So I ended up finding out that the staff caught that brother in the washroom with a guest that wasn't his girlfriend. And they went and got the mom. And then the mom confronted
While
him.
his girl was on the dance floor.
While his girl's on the dance floor with
you
his
didn't
family.
you didn't want to mess her up. She was getting her groove on.
That's
Jeez
brutal.
Louise.
Yeah.
They shut down the whole wedding for it.
Well, the mom was just embarrassed and pissed off, right? And then,
Oh wow.
like 6 months later, I did somebody else in their family's wedding, and it was a happy family again.
Wow. Yeah. That's rough. Man, oh man. It's like, okay, party is
Yeah,
over.
yeah, exactly. And I'm just.
What do you just
like,
say?
And,
Say
and then obviously everybody knew about it because like the party was over. They're like,
Well, it was a
Yeah.
small. It was like I think it was like 100-person wedding. I mean, it
Not
Maybe
the first
less,
one.
right?
The first one was big.
when that happened.
Yeah,
Well, I imagine it'd be smaller after.
yeah.
Wow.
The second one was a
Was it
bit
not at
smaller,
that-
but it wasn't that small. Yeah, but it wasn't that small. I would say like 180.
Oh shoot.
But to imagine that, like everybody's just like it's full on, and then the wedding. Did everybody just leave then?
Yeah, it was a really weird transition.
Oh.
Because, like, I don't think the shuttle was even there. Like, I think it was coming back
So then
from
everybody
somewhere.
knew. So like, well, why did the party stop?
Because that guy with
Yeah.
the grin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
this
Yeah.
muchacho here was like,
Yeah,
you know,
the guy
having
just
some
comes
fun.
out, like, shirt untucked, like, sorry.
Oh no.
Yeah. It was bad.
Oh.
What's that song? It's like,
Oh, yeah.
No,
that's yeah. I would have played that.
Doesn't
100%.
matter. I don't, yeah, but
Wow.
that was a.
So you guys provide bands and stuff. You were saying and little quartets and stuff. What's the weirdest thing people have asked you to do that you're like, ooh, we don't do that? Like, can you put on a hardcore band or a meth band, like, or like something crazy, like?
We've actually played hardcore music at a wedding. You did that one.
Yeah, I did a wedding in
Wow.
Near Goderich, was it? Grand Bend.
Yeah, Grand
Bend. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah, and
That must have been a cool crowd then.
yeah,
Anyway.
like it was like metal, like heavy metal.
Yeah.
For their cocktail hour. So everyone's walking around with like little grilled cheese and poutines and just having cocktail hour, and it's like screaming. Wow. Yeah, exactly.
Oh god.
Yeah, and they're all just like sick
This is
music,
rad,
dude.
bro. Wow. So you must have like, you personally must have like a wide range of genres that you just have your, like, you just understand.
Mhm.
Like, that would be.
Yeah,
like
I think since we were kids, like both of us, just always listened to everything.
That's awesome.
I just never got into metal stuff just because,
Yeah.
like, the musicians I have huge respect for because it's insane how they
Mhm.
play, but just the screaming just never.
Yeah, I grew
did
up going to
anything for
hardcore
me.
shows, just like mosh pits and stuff like that.
You would have loved this wedding.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty rad wedding. I had like, not metal at my wedding, but we played like White Stripes, and I played like I don't know, I can't even remember. Like just a bunch of weird songs that were. He's like, yeah, you made this playlist.
Elton John.
No, Elton John.
Oh, are they hardcore? Oh,
Yeah, just like some good music. Yeah, and I remember my one of my friends was like walking around. I had it at the charcoal, my reception. He's walking around, and then he hears like, I think he heard, I think it was like Black Flag or something, like TV party tonight or something. Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is Jeremy's wedding. We gotta go in here. This is where it is. There's like no other way that there'd be punk blasting at this really fancy wedding reception. Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
rad.
I don't think we've got any weird.
No,
I think a lot of the
that
weird stuff doesn't
yeah.
show up
That's
until
cool
the day
though. I guess
of,
weird
right?
is like cool though.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just different.
That's
It's just out of your
Yeah.
comfort zone.
So
but
you guys book other bands as well too? For
No.
like if you need to
No.
fill in, no.
no, we'll send them like maybe here's a band that we've used before. Or, you know,
Yeah, if they want some live
if they
thing
want
for the
some,
event.
Yeah.
Right on.
Another thing too, though, that's cool about weddings. It's a really good place to learn music because so many songs I've never heard before, or
Requested.
I know the song, never knew the name. They get requested, right? Like country music.
Mm,
Growing up, I was always like, people are like, oh, what do you listen to? I'd always say I listen to everything except country.
me too.
Well, that
And
British
then-
one,
uh,
the we did somebody that was head of like Universal
Oh, yeah.
Publishing, I think. it
Yeah,
was.
she was head of Universal, and then like all these guests at the wedding were all like high up at Universal.
Whoa.
So their requests were all these like
And they all flew in
awesome
from the
songs.
UK.
Yeah, they had awesome songs. So that was really cool. But like country, like I was saying, never listened to country,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would say like 5 years ago, it got really popular,
Yeah.
and then that's where I learned country like so much. Of
Yeah,
it.
and I think that's an
Yeah.
asset for you too. Is like, Ernie was doing the charity event for Murphy's Law, and that crowd was a country crowd. And I'm just like, I'm sitting back there, I'm like, oh, is this the music you're gonna play?
Yeah, he didn't
and
know
they're-
any of
And they're
it.
all dancing and like having
When
a
you,
great time.
when you hear a song you've never heard and see 100 people react in a
I was like,
crazy way,
That's
like,
really, man.
like I'm
Yeah.
looking at Ernie's playlist. I'm like, are they really down for this? And he's like, oh yeah. And then he's like, rip. And then there's like girls like just like having a hoot and just like dancing around. And I'm like, okay, this is not my crowd, but this is pretty rad. Like I get this. And he's like, don't change the playlist. Like this
Yeah.
is what they want. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, don't play Beastie Boys. you
George
know?
and I did when we first started. I think it was I don't know, it was just a party. I think it was a birthday, but in Acton, and it was music we had never heard.
Yeah,
That is cool.
The
But
Newfie Stomp.
But the new, yeah, like
I've never
you know,
heard of
we-
that.
We didn't grow up with that, so
Yeah.
we had never really heard it, and to see people go nuts over
Yep.
over stuff,
Yep.
like Spirit of the West and us, it just became part of our playlist.
Are you
The
guys
hip-
getting more of that K-pop?
No,
Not yet.
not
I
yet.
had 3 of them last night,
Oh really?
and
Like
I'm like,
requests?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm like, is that English when they wrote it down? Because I
No,
looked at it,
yeah.
and I'm like, I can't read this.
Mm.
And they're like, no, here, and they grabbed my phone and punched it in for me.
Like
And
BTS. Yeah.
Hmm.
Never
Yeah,
heard.
at prom sometimes, like
Yeah,
I've
like
gotten
a
it in
growing
the
thing, like
past.
it's getting more
Like
popular.
the South
Yeah,
Korean.
yeah,
Is that
yeah.
what it is? The South
Yeah.
Korean like pop
Yeah.
music.
Yeah,
yeah, it's huge, like crazy. It's huge.
yeah.
It's
Metal
like
Blue
boy
Band.
bands. Well, we were just talking about this actually. I watched a documentary on it. They're like these boy bands that are put together, kind of like like the NSYNC or
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys or whatever. But they really focus on like individual characters,
Huh.
and like they're not allowed to have girlfriends and
Mhm.
stuff like publicly. They're not,
Really?
yeah, because like they have such a hardcore following. and it's like this whole culture that
Whoa.
people are into. Yeah, it's pretty
That's
insane.
crazy.
Yeah, check it out. It's on Netflix, I think.
What's it called?
Netflix has a series, and it's like a bunch of things
I
where
think
they
I did
just
see that.
Yeah, and K-pop was one of them.
I'll
That's
check
why
it
I
out.
watched it.
I heard that
I'll
on
write
another
that down.
podcast. They were talking about like those guys, what they can do and they can't do, and like
Mm-hmm.
when
They
they're
have
in
rules.
the group. Yeah. It's like very like almost straight edge kind of.
Yeah, they can't like just cut their hair and stuff.
That's not
Yeah.
straight edge, brother.
Listen, ish. Okay,
Just
I
saying.
didn't throw a fucking ish on the end of it. I guess.
Yeah, sure. Man. Oh, yeah. Can't fix your. Sorry.
Yeah, that thing comes unplugged. Those are wonderful headphones.
Yeah, they're not so great.
God bless you, Dre.
No, I thought it was weird because it felt like I turned everything off.
What do you what do you guys use for headphones?
Not
Not Beats by Dre.
not Beats by Dre.
I can tell you why.
well, our go-to is the
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure, SC2.
We as long as it we like the bud style, like the earbud style,
Mhm.
over like the traditional.
And then you guys are.
This looks better with the suit.
Yeah, and your
Yeah.
setup is the we can do logos, brands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Apple laptop,
Apple laptop.
and you got a Pioneer mixer, right?
Yeah,
And
Serato.
you have what is the external mixer that you use?
Allen and Heath.
Allen Heath.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the EV.
Our mics are
EV.
Sennheiser.
Are they all cordless?
Yeah, wireless. Yeah, so
Wireless,
the mic we use is the Sennheiser 835, I believe.
Do you guys get into the lapel stuff?
No, not for weddings. Here's a word of advice: stay away.
Wind sucks.
So okay.
I know everybody wants
Now-
it because it's cool and it.
What is
it-
this?
So
So a
lapel,
lapel-
like lapel mics, like they would sound like that.
Oh,
that's the noise
yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I did that. That's what I was gonna say. So
Yeah.
that's what it
Yeah.
sounds like when it gets wind in that. But I heard
How you
if
supposed
you
to
put
move
them
around?
under
Like-
your shirt
Yeah,
and you turn them up, then you don't get the wind.
till the guy sweats.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing too. Yeah. And he's moving around.
To
you're
me,
hearing-
there's just too many.
And if he farts,
Yeah, that'll. Especially if it's under
Yeah.
the shirt.
that's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
You know what?
Or if he's like, fuck this. Or like,
Yeah.
Or he's like
Oh.
mad and everybody hears it. Like,
She looks like fucking shit today.
yeah.
yeah, you can hear. Yeah.
The more
I'm gonna go bang
you
this
can
chick
take-
in the bathroom.
yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm stopping
Gets
this
on his
wedding.
back. Yeah, the more you can take, I don't know how to say this properly, but the more you can take out of guesswork, if you will,
Yeah.
like a
Variables.
wireless handheld
Yep.
mic
Yep.
will sound great. If there's wind, it's gonna pick it up, but there,
Yeah.
you cut the bottom end or whatever, and it'll sound great. When you get to like, I remember the last time we used one was at Leuna Gardens it's in like kind of like Stony Creek area, I think. Where? Grimsby. And you're right in front of the water. So
yeah.
You're
like all you hear is the waves, right? And I'm sure you know this by now by doing enough weddings. The second there's an audio problem, even if it's not yours, everybody looks at the
They go,
DJ.
huh?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
We've had singers that come with their own mics and they're set up somewhere else and they're crackling, and people come up to us and, what's going on with the sound?
Not me, man.
It's not us, right? But yeah, that was the last time we used lapel mics. Was
Huh.
because it was just too hard. I mean, for corporate stuff, we'll still use them for presentations and stuff like that. But it's different. It's guys that use it, 4 times a week, as opposed to somebody who is nervous and is just going up for the first time and maybe has no experience with it. And yeah, you end up looking bad in the end when the sound is off, right?
Yeah, it's just something else to worry about, right? Yeah, I know. I've been asked about it, like because the officiants, they don't like to hold the mic because just picture-wise it doesn't look good,
Mhm.
right? And they're like, "Do you have the lapels?" And I'm like, I felt kind of like, I'm like, man, I'm so friggin' amateur. Like I don't have these things. But then I'm looking at other pictures from other companies because I do. Like when I first started getting when I wanted to take this seriously, I went on a lot of YouTube guys that were
Right.
like posting stuff like DJ Rick Webb and like a bunch of them. And where I found most of the lights stuff that I've got too, because I heard that you don't want to be getting into doing DMX and all that stuff, right? Because it's just more stuff you got to worry about. Sound Active is your friend and things like that. And then I didn't notice a whole lot of people using lapel stuff because I heard that it's one other mic you got to worry about, and you got to make sure it's set up properly, and you got to make sure the batteries are
battery's
good.
a different
And
package.
like
Yeah.
their company, they got like 20 guys out doing. it's
And that's
just
the other
like I
thing,
said,
too,
Too
yeah,
many
and
variables,
it's-
man. Too many things to worry about.
Yeah.
Too many balls in the air.
Yeah. Well, anything else you guys want to talk about?
More Ernie talk.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
Anyways,
It was fun.
We're 2 hours in.
Really?
that was 2 hours, boys.
Oh.
And here I thought
See?
we had nothing to talk about.
Oh, no. See, if I don't know anything about it, I'll just ask questions, and then questions build on questions.
See, worst case scenario, we'll take we just step past the facade and we
You're not gonna let that go.
no.
I thought this was a cool one for you, because, like, I was like, I'm just going to, like, lead into Ernie saying, like, because, like, I've seen your websites and stuff. You guys are, like, legit, like, oh my
It's
God.
taking time though. I mean, you're
It's your full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are, you know, like, you.
we have a
work the
graphic
brand.
designer as well. Like we've paid a lot of money to get where we are as far as not taking shortcuts. What I mean by that is, the graphic designer is really, I mean, it's actually Mike's brother. So he designed our first logo, revamped it, and then finally to where we have it right now. So yeah, people can see our logo and be like, that's an amazing logo. It took 7 years, maybe 6 years for this logo.
What do you think of our logo?
I like it.
That's our logo.
What is PM&A?
Well, PM&A is just like whatever.
It's
So,
like positive mental and attitude,
right?
Yeah, so
I
it's
read
like a
that.
lifestyle. So I've always been into that. It's actually part of the hardcore scene too. It's like it's just like almost like straight edge, but it's just like a positive mental attitude, just like a way you live your life. And as like we're a monotheistic Christian background, and we've always like that's our view of life, and that doesn't it's not labeling us as like being Christian or something, but PM&A, like positive mental attitude. We have fun. We just like we keep it real and.
Throw a little attitude on it.
I thought I was gonna get free coffee when I came. To be
You can have
honest.
free coffee if you'd like.
Well,
Yeah.
Do I get to keep the mic?
Did I have to bring the hat to get the mic?
my head stayed warm and not because of you, so I couldn't make coffee.
So I'll bring you 10 hats, and you
Yeah.
give me.
I'll bring you coffee.
Bring you coffee.
Yeah.
I did this thing for
I
podcast
don't
at the
drink
end.
coffee,
We
too.
do like a long podcast.
A
And
bottle
I'd say,
of
if
water.
anybody's listened to the podcast this far, message me and I'll drive you with a coffee. And so like 2 guys messaged me like, "Hey, listen to your podcast, listen to them." I'm like, okay, so I drove them out like 2 coffees, one of my buddies and another guy, but like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, logos are funny.
That's my tattoo artist. He made that for us. He does a lot of he's done a couple podcast logos like that, but that's our logo.
And then the logo for Shadywood, I did that one. I ripped it off a couple other ones that I like.
He ripped it off, didn't pay for it.
No, I made it, but
Yeah.
I ripped it off of like from other people's that like how theirs looked, how very kind of like symmetrical kind of. It was more round than it was just mine. When I first started, it was just Shadywood events, and then I grabbed a picture that I saw from when I took from one of my events, turned it black and white, and that was my.
My artist did that too.
That's cool.
Jesus.
Yeah. If all fails, just stare at Jesus.
Yeah.
Like he's between the two of you.
Yeah, because he's always there. Well, 2 sets of footprints.
These guys grew up in the church. I know.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
2 sets of footprints. Anyway, so thanks, guys.
Yeah, no, thanks
Yeah,
for
thanks
having
for
us.
the fun.
Appreciate it. I was really unsure about.
He was like, "Who the fuck you invited?"
Who are
on
these
my
guys?
house?"
I did not say that. I said I don't know these guys. I'm
So
like,
they're not. It's not Fabian again. So
I meet people for the first time, and I'm like, let's just see what happens. Not that we don't. We knew. I think we kind of know each other.
Well, we're from Cambridge. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that big of a town, and
No.
Yeah, we
You don't
probably
know.
have like 50 mutual friends.
probably do. Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
this was good. I was happy to sit. Like I knew you guys, but it was just I knew it was going to be really fun just to sit down and listen to how you guys got started and like to hear your whole story because like I say I've been following
We
you
really
guys for a
appreciate
long
you coming
time.
on.
So
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
yeah, man, it's awesome
Appreciate
just
your
watch
time.
to see how far you guys have gone and to see how far you guys.
I didn't
are
realize
gonna
how
go.
big you guys were until like I did like a quick Instagram check, and then you guys came on. And I was like, oh my god.
You know what's cool? What you're saying there? We actually have like a list of like 10, 20 people that really followed from the beginning that like they're not even married or they are already married and they just wanted to
yeah.
Support you.
support. So like same 5 people liked all our pictures like from the very beginning. It's really
Awesome.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
rad.
Cool,
It's
yeah.
been a fun ride.
Did they get hats?
Yeah, they got
They
hats.
get whatever they
We got
want.
shirts.
Nice.
Shirts,
We
pins.
bought them
Nice.
houses.
I
We
got a
them
shirt.
everything.
I guess I should shut the fuck up. I got a shirt. I guess.
You got a shirt?
We'll take care of you. Ernie.
We'll get you.
I want to
we'll
see him
get
in
you
586 everything.
Yeah.
Anytime I see you walking.
Underwear, socks.
Yeah,
Yeah, everything.
Throw
You
it
got-
on there.
Yeah.
You better be walking down the road with their stuff on.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
I'm
gonna
gonna
pull
post it.
over.
I want to
Everywhere
see you
go.
at your own gigs with our hats on. Then
I'll
we'll
do
get
it.
you one.
I'll do it.
Ernie will turncoat for you. He will. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate
This
you
was
guys
a lot
coming
of
on.
fun.
Thanks
Very
for
much.
real. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Mike.
Yeah.
It's a nice
Yeah,
kind
Mike.
of talk.
Yeah,
nice kind of
that's why we brought
Next
him.
time, Mike, it's just you. Where's this going?
People
Yeah.
don't think he exists, but he runs the back. He does way more than George and I do combined.
Yeah, you guys
No,
all
no,
came
the
out.
financing part is the part I friggin' hate. Going up to the groom if they haven't paid me like the day of. It's like, so
Yeah,
the music doesn't start till I get paid. So what are we doing?
Yeah, did you guys get paid before or after?
30 days before.
Whoa! And
Really?
Yeah.
I guess so, because you guys got to pay. Like, if it, like it's just me, I got to worry about. I'm paying myself, but you've got to pay your guys too.
Well, we
right?
have insurance. We have a lot of office overhead. We have a lot of bills that
Yeah.
that have to be covered. And
Insurance.
it's honestly it's more of being less awkward, like that awkwardness of asking for money on the day of. We avoided completely, and you
That's
know,
smart.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier for the client too. They don't have to worry about paying. Sorry.
Okay.
They don't have envelopes and stuff paying all their vendors in the day. It's easier to take care of it a month in advance and send all the checks.
It's a little bit more professional too. When you're like, actually, 30 days before the event, you need to be paying me this. Blah 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 blah.
We have everything we need by then, right?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. You got all your ducks in a row, and that way you don't just got to worry about getting there, get set up, and
So that's the most awkward part. Owning your own business is getting people to pay you. That's the worst part for me.
Chasing people is the worst.
It's like, hey, are you asking for like?
no doubt.
Like,
Because
gotta pay
you've
me.
done the event, and like many times, there's events where we didn't get paid till about 2 months later.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, you guys still have to get paid, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Corporate events.
Corporate events take forever.
Yeah.
But now,
There's a lot
now
of-
you know it, right? You just don't count on that money.
It's a lot of like
Yeah.
red tape they got to go through to pay
Hang
you.
on.
More paperwork and stuff. Overhead. They have overhead. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, this
Cheers.
was awesome.
So
Thank you very much for
We'll,
sitting down with us.
This will be live on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere else you get your Android podcasts. I have a lot of platforms. So if you guys listen to podcasts, it'll be live tomorrow.
Sweet. Thank you,
Thanks.
guys.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thanks for
Appreciate it.
sitting with us. Thanks for everybody for listening. Peace.